Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hey, Sam.
Hello.
I like your shoes.
Thank you.
Did you go school shopping?
I did.
Yeah, she is really
Mostly got shoes.
We gotta go school shopping.
What is that?
Well, you kind of did. You got you're going through your power years, I guess, where you've decided to only wear khaki shorts and gray polos until you die.
Yep.
Because this is the time when you're really focusing on your company and your craft and your money, and this is where your trajectory takes a turn. Much like Steve Jobs or anybody else, you can't concentrate on your wardrobe. You got to concentrate on your business.
Yeah, the polo offsets the short shorts and flip-flops.
Tiny
Yeah,
shorts.
It says business.
Yeah.
Business on top.
Well, a
party
lot
on
of
the
people
bottom.
don't know that his flip-flops actually say
like that.
business on them.
Yeah. Although I'm not ever in front of anybody, and although I had one
You had a
business
meeting
yesterday,
but with a guy that was dressed
straight from the beach. Yeah. So he
Kelly
wouldn't care.
Slater, Desert Island man.
In fact, the fact that I had a polo on was probably worse
You made
for the
him
meeting.
uncomfortable, yeah.
Because I'm like, this guy's too uptight. He needs to be cool.
Yesterday you were meeting with Attorney Castaway.
Yeah. So it's just I don't want to think about what I have to wear.
I
in the
got you.
morning.
Hey, you want to do that thing that we do?
Yep.
Nerds. Nerds. Nerds.
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
It's Nerd Jock with EJ. How you doing, EJ?
Thanks for taking me, guys.
How long have we been doing this, EJ? I lost
Long.
I
track.
don't even know anymore. It feels like I've been doing it forever, but I think it's like 3 years, maybe 4.
It's been a while.
Like,
Long enough for me to hear the number and be like, no way.
Yeah, that
and
can't
then
be
At
true.
least 4.
and then long enough for me to hear the number and be like, oh man, this was just supposed to be a placeholder. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
long enough for me to be like, well, should we do something different because this is boring? And then long enough for me to go,
we've
I
been
don't
doing
have a replacement. I
It's
have
a
no.
tradition now.
Yeah.
Now we're just stuck in our roles.
You can't come to the table and complain about something and not have a solution. At least I was told that as a child. At least, to not think out of the box and try to, then you come up with something. And I got nothing. So I guess here we are.
Yeah. And people are so used to hearing it now that if we stopped,
Yes.
people would be like,
Yeah, that was actually very accurate.
What happened to EJ? What happened to Nerd Jack? Now it's just like, I kind of remember that.
But
Yeah,
now
Kind of
we
like
get
Daily Special.
we get so many of those. Like, people ask us every day about, like, what happened to this? What happened to that? But most of the time they ask on social media. And Tom taught me this trick, and it works. If somebody asks you that, even if you see it, if you just close your browser, it doesn't exist. It's not real.
Yeah.
You can turn it off.
And we've got so many different moving parts and bits and people that we talk.
I can't keep track of it. Why do you think every segment I go, Sam, what was that? And she gives me some numbers and I just type them in.
It's like a shell game, and we've got 10,000 shells
Oh,
moving around. You're like,
God.
where's the ball? Like, I
And
don't
one
know.
of these days I get to get the shell I really want to put in the rifle and cacao.
You have to confuse the audience so they don't know what's going on.
Problem is we confuse ourselves.
Yeah, we've confused
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
And I think
I don't know what shell we're on.
I actually think that
Yeah.
we've done this show we've run this entertainment program so poorly that the audience is now the show and we are the audience. I don't know how that worked. I don't know how we got inside out. The
flipped the
show's
script on 'em.
completely inside out, and I don't know how to get it back.
oh, it's a lost cause.
Don't want it back.
And I will talk about this for the whole segment.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Talking
then,
about how I brought Drunky the Bear Pirates the porno back in the day.
you know what?
You did.
All our business relationships revolve around free porno.
They really do.
Because that's how I got the internship with Daniel.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be sitting here today if I hadn't brought Daniel free porno 15 years ago or
Yeah,
more than
that's
that.
absolutely
How did I
true.
work my way in here without porno?
Glory hole.
What?
No, you cut one.
Oh,
and
you're going to get suspended from
she
MSNBC
cut one.
and CNN.
Hold on. I could say the word glory hole without
Sure.
you guys. Everything else past that word ending was an assumption. She had scissors and duct tape, and she cut the hole out of the refrigerator box and duct taped it so it wouldn't get wet, soggy, and fall apart. Everybody knows that. Then she left.
Have you
I had my way with it.
have you ever met anybody? I've had some weirdo friends
That's ever
and
made a glory hole?
Or
I've
used
had
one.
friends in pornos before.
Well, using one is too far,
I-
but making one, I feel like.
No, well, I've
Well, if
never
you're gonna make it, you might as well use it.
No, you make it just for.
I've never heard
It's like a centerpiece at like a wedding. You just make it for looks
anybody I know or talk to anybody that's used a glory hole.
because it's dangerous.
Yeah, but I've seen it
It's
a
extremely
lot.
dangerous because
But you-
behind that wall.
You've never seen one in person, though, right?
No, because I don't think they really exist. But if you
Like
use
truck stop
one,
bathrooms?
there's a lot of bad stuff on the other side there. There could be a girl. There could be an ugly girl.
Well,
there
there-
could be a man. There could be an ugly man. There could be a samurai sword.
Well,
you don't know.
Yeah.
Glory hole that doesn't exist in real life. Like there.
Did it
I
ever
mean,
exist?
It may have, obviously. You
Are
know,
we changing the name of this
but
segment to EJ's Glory Hole?
It's not. It's more. It's a movie thing. It's entertainment. It's not.
Yeah.
But where did
based
it
on
derive
reality.
from?
It is.
came from somewhere.
It would have
I'm
come from
sure-
Roman times.
Was it in Porky's?
It was Roman times. It would have been
Never
a
seen
a
Porky's.
hole in the plaster of the bathhouse.
It's like a fantasy, like a male
It's an
fantasy.
urban legend.
Like, oh, there's a hole. I'm gonna put this, and then
There might be a
there's
surprise
someone,
on the
yeah,
other
yeah,
end.
Like,
Yeah, oh, there
why,
is.
why would that happen? Like, I'm sure if there's like some sort of like European whorehouse,
you're going with
like I don't know whether like a brothel.
Okay.
And they have that as an option, something like. But it's got to be that scenario
Oh,
or
yeah,
movie.
yeah, it's vetted.
But it's not like this is your truck stop bathroom. Like
No?
no.
I think the only way that it's actually in play is if you can see
someone
the
just-
other participant and then he or she goes around the partition. You see what I'm saying? It's more of a role play scenario, less of what Tom's saying. It's
Yeah,
not a real thing. It's not
Yeah.
like you just go in, you see the hole, and you're like, well, let's roll the dice.
yeah.
I don't think people do that.
Also, we're like,
It's
is someone
the
just
FTV
waiting
for sure.
behind there?
yeah,
like,
yeah. Or do you have to ring the bell?
You're like, what
It's like
time
Gotta
is it?
knock 3 times.
No, it's like
Like-
going to the hotel. Well, they used to, in movies, you go to the hotel, there's nobody there, and you ding.
Yeah.
Right.
And then somebody walks up, and then you rent a room. Is that your boss?
Uh-oh. Stop talking about it.
Boxes again, yeah.
Oh, God.
It never fails. I
Talk
think
about the
everyone
glory
needs to come
hole.
here and get boxes at 10:30.
All right, EJ.
This is
let's-
Brenda, the one that thinks I'm racist.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. She's very beautiful. My God.
Yeah, she's
What?
So
She was mad at me yesterday.
EJ,
I didn't do anything wrong though.
Oh, sure.
Go, I got to do my segment.
Yeah, because she
Hurry up
just
and
got
get
mad
boxes
at
and
you for
leave.
no reason.
Yeah, let's talk more
She's actually
about.
doing her job. Don't yell at her.
She knows I do this, so that's why
She
it's so
said, "Get
funny.
out of here! I gotta do my segment," while she's trying to do her job.
What
This is a
happening
mess.
at that
This is a
place?
mess.
This
EJ,
company's just
Yeah.
hemorrhaging money.
what do you want to talk about first?
Should we talk about? Let's talk about football. How's your fantasy team going?
I won by 0.92 points.
Oh,
Yep.
did you win on Monday or did you win on Sunday?
I won last night when old CeeDee Lamb came through for me. Oh, God, by the
Oh.
skin of his tiny little dreadlocks.
Let's talk about how bad Dallas is. My God.
Oh,
I mean, I think we kind of know where all their talent was.
And
Man, Dak is a beast, right? I feel so bad
Yeah.
for that man.
I don't listen to much of mainstream sports media, but all my
Oh,
little
I like that.
but there is like the ESPN and like the big ones. I listen to more of the smaller gambling podcasts, and everybody was talking about they're like, there's not that much of a difference between Dalton and Prescott.
Prescott? Oh, my
and,
God.
And it's like they're like it can't be 6 points of a difference. Like Andy Dalton's the best backup QB in the NFL, and like everything. And
That I
that's
have
whatever.
heard.
And not so much. They got blown out. And
Yeah, maybe you should stop listening.
well,
to
Kyle
those
Murray's
Bobo
also a good
podcasts.
quarterback too, so that's part of the problem too.
Yeah, that guy, he's really fun to watch too, man. There's a lot of really exciting quarterbacks. And then there's Matt Ryan.
He had a good game.
He did. They had a great game.
this week.
I-
Yeah,
you
the
know,
guy
it's-
was going against Adam.
What
He had
would-
like 39 points in our league.
Oh, what was funny is watching all the trades in our league, me and Tom's, and watching all the trades. And man, Julio Jones is just bouncing team to team. And when he bounces, he won't do anything. And then he bounced last week, and boy, he went nuts.
Old man Jerry Jones has to be mad, and there's something that makes me laugh about that. I just because I imagine Jerry Jones is like the
Lack of performance? Is that just
stereotypical like oil tycoon billionaire,
Yeah, anything
like
to win.
greed,
Yeah.
like, like whatever it is, like, and he wants to win a Super Bowl before he dies or becomes incoherent or whatever. He's an old man. He's 76 or something. Like he's doesn't got that much time, and he's putting all his money. Gave Elliott that gigantic contract, which was controversial. People are like, don't pay a running back that much. You're an idiot. And he stocked his team. Like his wide receiver core is insane. And Ezekiel Elliott, and then his defense takes an S, and then it's a train wreck. What's happening now is a train wreck. Obviously, Dak's injury was, no one saw that coming, and it's sad for him. But I don't know what you do to fix Dallas now, and I feel like the team itself is probably, especially when you have superstars on the team and stuff, they're probably aggravated and
Yeah.
How
it can be extremely frustrating.
are they going to be able to grind back like after their laughing stock?
And you're not even lumping in that they're doing all of this in a pandemic, which weighs
Yeah.
heavier on everybody,
Well, the good thing is they're in the NFC East, and that division is horrible.
They're pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah. Like the Giants are bad. The Washington team is bad. I almost said the other
EJ,
team.
I have this.
Yeah.
I have this theory, and tell me,
Eagles are
and Daniel,
bad.
tell me if you think it's
Okay.
and this could be a crazy high theory that I was thinking about last night in the shower.
Your theory's wrong right now.
So, and it may be why I'm doing so bad at gambling. Like every one of my picks is losing. It's absurd.
It's been a pandemic styled year. Yeah.
I've never picked this many losers ever. Like
last-
in a row.
I mean, like I
You
made,
picked me to do Nerd Jock, so
True.
you're saying something.
I was the one actually trying to cheer you up last year when you went over 500. Remember? In all your betting, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"This
yeah.
isn't good," because like if you look at it, you did better than even, which is all any gambler can hope for, right?
Because even if you're just picking against the spread, like just if you just randomly picked, like the spread says you got a basically 50-50 chance
Yeah.
at that point. So no matter what you pick, your odds should be at the end. If you're just picking against the spread around 50-50, and what you hope for is that if you're the professionals get like 55,
Yeah.
60% at the most, like that's the
Is
edge.
it possible for you to go the exact opposite of what your initial reaction gut tells you immediately?
Oh, that's called the Costanza. I've done that before. I think, but the problem is, I started.
Is this your theory?
No. Okay.
I haven't even got to it
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
I get it.
Let's
Sorry,
get your
sorry.
theory out. Yeah.
My theory being that this year, because it's such a weird year. Okay, let me back up a little bit. So the NFL and these players have gotten so precise, and the teams are so rich, and everybody, the support system and the players' talent level is so high that everybody is so well-oiled machine that it's like the discrepancy of talent, and everybody's so close to each other that it becomes a numbers game, right?
Okay.
And that's where a lot of gamblers are betting on numbers, and they're like, oh, if I can get a half point, then I'm betting on that. I'm just a number, and that's where all these analytics guys came up and stuff. Now, the NFL had gotten up to that point, let's say to last year, 2019, and things have become so well-oiled. I listened to a interview with Russell Wilson on Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson literally he spends $1 million a year just on his own body. And he has a full-time team of like 5 or 6 people, like a nutritionist, chef, a strength coach, a mental coach, a coordination coach. Like 5 full-time people work with him every day of his life.
I have a bug man.
365 days a year to get. That's his level of intensity and training and
Okay.
stuff. He's got a team he pays $1 million to work with him every day of his life. And that's how much work he puts in.
Super elite athlete.
So I'm guessing a lot of these players have that or some level of that. So think about how minuscule the edges got. And because of COVID, that threw a wrinkle in things.
It did, yeah.
And practice and everything. And now this year, you're seeing a lot of the good teams play really good and the bad teams real bad because that edge that everybody was like so
Shifted,
close
yeah.
shifted a little bit, and now
Oh, I can't see my nutritionist. Oh, my mental guy's not here. Oh, this threw off my schedule. Oh, I got COVID.
Yeah, well, all these things threw off everybody's deal. So then all of a sudden it shook out the whole NFL, and now we're seeing teams overperform and underperform. I think this year we've seen the most like losing teams. I mean, there's teams.
Atlanta went
Horrible
was
records,
setting
great
records
records.
off of their badness. They're like, we've never seen a team be this bad. You're the best.
It's like the
Bad being bad.
the competitiveness of the league got less because of COVID, and it kind of the cream rise to the top, and like the good teams are playing good. And so, because it seems like a lot of the favorites are winning, and like and it's starting to kind of adjust
Shuffle
back.
out.
Evening out a little bit.
But what do you think about that theory where this year, because of those changes and because it was different and threw these guys off their schedule and less practice, like we're seeing where almost you're better off betting with the public? What it seems like, I'm looking at a lot of like public bets winning this year, and a lot of the good teams just being good and the bad teams being bad. And usually we see a lot more competitiveness where you're like, all right, this team maybe has a chance. But it's like the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets
I don't
historically
disagree with
bad.
your theory. I think yeah, the mediocrity of the league has always been that way. Every team's good. It's slight edges on the whole time. So I think I think the COVID definitely threw a wrench in a lot of people's stuff, especially with facilities getting closed down. The Titans facility getting closed down. I think who is it? Carolina's facility just got closed down this week. That's going to totally mess up their momentum and all the stuff they've been building on.
But
Falcons closed for a couple days too because they had to play test positive.
But the problem is that I've thought about that, and I was betting against the Titans, thinking that they're not having practice and they're having so.
Yeah, but Derrick Henry's throwing people off the field when he's throwing the ball.
I don't know. Tannehill's also really good.
Yeah, Tannehill's overperforming for sure.
Yeah, that guy
Why couldn't he do that when he was playing with the Dolphins?
But he did that last year.
He doesn't even look like the same quarterback he did with the Dolphins. I actually texted you how funny he is to watch.
If
he
you
can run.
How many years you overperform before the whole society just be like, all right, well maybe you're good. You'd be like, he overperformed.
No, he's just good.
His talent level should be way less. This is an anomaly. And they're like, he did it again. He did it again. But you're like, all right, well, maybe he's just better than we think.
What's funny though is when Tannehill was with Miami, everybody would say, why is he playing like this? He's a lot better athlete than he's playing, and then he's here, and he's like, oh, there he is.
We also have a better supporting staff for the Titans.
That's the key.
So that kind of helps out,
That
too,
is the key. Kind of helps. It is the help.
Yeah.
Also, and you have
He's got enough space where he can actually use his legs.
you have this beast running back that everybody's afraid of, and so everybody's going to respect him no matter what. So then you stack
There's your draw.
You stack the box, and then you have time to throw.
You single coverage on the outsides, and it's
yeah.
easy to throw on one-on-one because the receivers usually can beat a defensive back every down.
What else?
Unless you have a really good shutdown corner. Well, we got to talk about Orlando City making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And their unbeaten streak of is it 12 games now?
I think it's 12 now. Yeah, I think unbeaten 12. Finally made the playoffs for the first time in our history of being an MLS franchise.
Yeah,
so that's super exciting.
And this is when all the fans are not there, so maybe the fans should never come back to the Orlando City.
Well, I've said that.
there's
I've
an
made that
irony
joke,
answer.
and it sucks.
It still makes me happy.
I feel so bad for them.
It's almost like another curse for Orlando City fans who are like, the 1 year we got it all together, we made the playoffs, we can't even be there to watch. It's like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like,
no drums in the stands, none of that throwing the fireworks on the field.
Yeah, so it's like the one time that it should be the craziest, and the one time we could hear probably the loudest this stadium has ever been.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to get to do it.
Like, this would be the time the stadium would be the loudest. But maybe
what do they do? We make it to
the
the
inaugural
finals.
game.
We make it to the finals. And let's just say we do, hypothetical.
Yeah.
How tempted are you as a company to just say, screw it, open it up. You got to open it. We got to.
They could do it, I guess. There's no all stadiums.
I don't think you would, though, right? It'd
No,
be
you wouldn't.
so reckless and disrespectful and
But
terrible.
I think DeSantis
But you'd
said
be
that
tempted,
it's up to the company. Like,
Who's DeSantos?
I don't know, but these
governor, you mean?
I don't know. It's a Mexican restaurant Tom and I went to yesterday.
Close enough.
I don't care about any of these dumb politicians. But
His name
any
is,
of 'em.
his last name Santos, first name D.
but they said that it's up to
DeAndre
the
Yeah.
NFL
No
in
rules.
Florida.
Open it up. I say open it up.
But they wouldn't do it. Although tempted they would be.
You'd be
Yeah.
tempted, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like,
Oh
God.
yeah,
Because
imagine the windfall of money you would get just for filling that stadium.
it'd be an instant sellout.
Yeah.
You could fill it too. I mean,
People are itching to do things. My God.
I feel like you could put, a decent amount of people in there and be safe still, right?
I don't understand how they're doing it. My wife and I were thinking about, because you can get that deal now where you can go get a couple tickets for the, easing into the playoffs for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you make everybody wear masks. You separate them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's outside.
Well, they do it in Miami. They at the Dolphins game, they had them separated. It was like only 20% capacity, and everyone was like, there was like blotches where there's no one, so you have like a whole section to yourself, which is kind of nice. I would love that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
congrats to them. I will say that I think the real reason that we are winning as a team is that for the first time in the history of Orlando City, and this is just my opinion, we have a true captain in Nani, who he commands the field. He puts the blame on himself. He calms everybody down. He talks to the referee. He does what captains do. He runs the match.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a very, very long way. When you look at him, he's got you know what he's got on the field? The same thing that Belichick has. That you just look at him and you go, oh, that guy's all business. So,
Yeah.
watching him do what he does is really, really fun. He's hit the woodwork on PKs, I think 6 times. It's like an MLS record that he just keeps dialing them in they're so close to going in. He should have like 5 goals off of set pieces this year. It's insane.
It does just seem so random. Like, there's some luck and some random.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you get the right personnel together that gel well, and
Well,
then
our
it's like,
coach.
and then right coaching, and then
Oscar
it's like,
Pereira is a great coach.
well,
He's won championships before. He's been in MLS. He knows MLS. So, yeah, I'm just happy that we have a winning team and things are going well there. What else you got?
Well, the last thing I have for sports is we got to talk about the World Series. The Rays are playing against the Dodgers tonight.
Man,
is game 1.
Tampa has a chance of being a real big championship team, or championship city, rather.
Plus, if you look at their salaries, like you could pay the whole salary for the Rays of what you paid Kershaw and Mookie Betts on the Dodgers. They make like $28 million, and the whole Rays roster makes $26.
Yeah, the Rays are.
Or is it the other way around?
It's I know.
It's the other way around. It's like $26 million for Mookie and Kershaw, and then the Rays' whole roster only makes $28 million.
I wonder if there's any like evidence in the past where, because it's weird that with the Lakers just winning the championship, and now the Dodgers are in the World Series, and then Tampa winning the Stanley Cup, and then now they're in the World Series. Like, if there's any other like evidence of teams, cities winning across sports around the same time.
Well, Detroit was that way a couple of years ago when it was the Pistons and the Red Wings were winning the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals at the same time.
Years ago. Yeah. The other thing about this that I find kind of interesting is that it's almost like diversification of your talent. It's almost like fantasy football. Now follow me with this. Like, if you had a team and you had Saquon Barkley on it, right? I mean, we all know that he's a megastar, and he can be extremely good for you in fantasy football, right? I mean, you put up like 40-point games, stuff like that. But if you just have a bunch of guys that can get you 10, you might win. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's like if you can get like a bunch of guys that can give you a consistent 12 to 14 points. I mean, those
I'd take that. Yeah, if I can get 10 to 14 points a game.
Yeah, those
instead of one guy that's going to give me 30 points one game and then nothing the next week.
And then bust out. Like my point is that if you look at the Rays, I mean, maybe they have specialty guys that are really good at what they do.
That they did the money ball. That's the thing. The GM for the Tampa Rays before he left, he went to the Dodgers, and he built that team the way it is. And then the Dodgers, he did that. He just had more money to spend on players now, so that's why they're both good teams now.
Yep.
And I wonder if any of the, like, say, Tampa wins the World Series.
So it puts a lot of pressure on Brady.
I had to talk to my baseball, the Puerto Rican Scorpion. He knows a lot about baseball.
Excuse me?
Oh yeah, but
Who? What?
yeah, but
That's
you
one
were
of my
also
gambling
fighting with him a
buddies.
little
Are
bit
you on
on
the
Twitter.
blacklist
I
or
saw.
something?
Was that who you were fighting with?
No, that's a different one.
Who was that guy?
That's
He's like Iranian tennis genius or something. He
Is
fights
that the
with
guy that
these,
burned your feet the other day?
No.
he fights with these guys online too. Now I'm starting to infiltrate his secret gambling web. It's like the dark web. It's very scary.
But I wonder if you, so you win the World Series, do you have like some sort of like, Stanley Cup World Series party combined
Well,
in
what
Tampa?
if you win the Super
yeah.
Bowl too? You got to do like a big party, and
Well, if the
everybody.
Bucks pull out a Super Bowl win,
Yeah.
it'd be crazy in Tampa for the next year.
Okay, if the
They
Rays
would, yeah,
win
yeah. I mean,
and
they-
then
you know-
Brady wins the Super Bowl, then you got to have a mask-off mega spreader party.
Yeah,
You got to
they-
do it because you're the best city in the world, and you got to be like, look, we've won everything. We're not afraid of nothing. We're gonna win
Yeah,
life.
Ybor City basically gets burned down to the ground, and it's your murder P riot that you talked about way back in the day on your podcast.
I'd heavily bet against it, but it's a possibility.
It is
like,
a possibility.
if-
Tampa looks good.
If their receivers got a little healthier, I mean, they didn't have one penalty this last game
Right?
against Green Bay.
They beat undefeated the Packers.
Yeah.
The Packers,
Right, right.
Aaron Rodgers looked garbage that game.
Yeah.
I've never seen him play that bad.
That could have been a kind of a false loss, but anyway, regardless,
Come on, give us hope.
It's a possibility.
I'm on board.
He's still a system quarterback. Tom Brady is. I'm still gonna call it.
Okay.
I probably look at the odds, but it's probably like plus what would you say for Tampa Bay to win plus 800 right now or maybe less. I don't know.
What do you got for nerd?
Okay, for nerd, a new Mandalorian trailer just came out because it's coming out not this Friday, but next Friday. Season 2 is coming out, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, especially because they pushed Stranger Things out. Stranger Things was supposed to come out today, but because of COVID, it got pushed back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Those are the two things that were supposed it was supposed to be the 20th was Stranger Things, but it got moved back.
Who's
I think
still
it's
on board?
Moved back to
Stranger
January.
Things. Y'all still on board, Stranger Things?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still gonna watch it. Yeah, I want to see what happens with Hooper.
I forget what happens.
Hopper.
Yeah,
Hopper,
Hooper
yeah, sorry.
is Burt Reynolds.
I'm used to. I've been watching Jaws a lot lately.
A lot?
So
Yeah, it's a
my
great-
son loves it. My
great
son
series.
loves Jaws.
Great
I don't know
series.
why.
So
it's a
did-
good movie.
Stranger Things get pushed back.
Because last year it
because
came
they're
out in
filming?
July, so I guess they already pushed it back, right? Or were they just already planning on?
They were shooting. They try to shoot for Halloween when they do the filming, and it's been pushed back because the actors are getting older. They're trying to keep it together, but it's gonna get. I think they got maybe one more season after this one.
Yeah.
So did they already film it and they're going to release it, or did like the?
I think they
filming
still
get
had some
delayed?
other more shooting to do.
Oh, okay.
And that's
Can't
what got pushed
do
back.
Stranger Things when the strangest things the kids are dealing with are pubes.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's move on. Tom, I found another documentary you might like. Do you ever remember the movie Tremors with Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
There's a free documentary on the making of it on YouTube that you can watch. It's 30 minutes long. It's called Making Perfection, which is the name of the town they were in Tremors. And it looks pretty good. I haven't watched it all. I've watched part of it.
So it's a 30-minute documentary about
Tremors.
stinky old sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Oh, my mom loved that movie. She loves the pole vaulting when they used to pole vault between the rocks to keep themselves safe, and then they hop in the truck and drive away.
And okay, remind me with Tremors, there were giant worms underneath.
All I can
Underground.
think
Yeah, and they
about
had little
is-
things that come out of their mouths, little snakes that came out that grab people and then pulled them in.
All I can think about is having some sort of neurological disorder. So I'll have to exit this conversation.
So, and the whole point was you can't touch the ground because that's when they get you.
Well, as long as you were off the ground, they sense the vibrations through the ground.
That's hot
and that's how
lava.
they'd find you. So if you stood still, you'd be okay.
I wonder if they can do another Tremors. Did they do a recent one?
There's 6 of them. They're making a new
Ugh.
one. It's coming out,
God.
I think,
Enough.
this week, is called Shrieker Island. They've made even a prequel one where it was back in the Old West.
Cowboys and Tremors?
Yeah,
So
with
don't
Michael
know.
Gross. He's been in all of them.
Could you go to water? Like, what? I mean,
There's one in the water when they go to the Arctic. They end up going to the Arctic, and
Wait.
they put in like global
What about
warming.
in a
is the
house?
reason why they're out.
Yeah.
Trimmers, the 6th installment of Trimmers is Trimmers, A Cold Day in Hell.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that.
That's the one where they're in the Arctic. But the new one is with
Oh, man.
Napoleon Dynamite is going to be in the new one
Oh,
on
God.
Shrieker Island. They're in like
Come in
the
my couch,
rainforest, and
John.
they're getting chased by the
John
second
Peter.
evolution of this thing. It's like a Pokemon.
Hey, Napoleon. I think that there is a trimmer.
all right, next story, EJ. Done with
He's
it.
got a vote for Trimmers shirt on, and then the ponytail chick, and then the ramp.
Okay, should we talk about witches
gonna
or the
jump
Die
this
Hard
drummer.
commercial?
What?
Witches or Die Hard commercial?
The Die Hard commercials are dumb, and witchers aren't real. Next.
No. The Die Hard commercial is really good. It even has the old actors from all the old movies too. And it even has the guy that drove the limo and the hacker that was on Hans Gruber's team. They're both in that commercial.
All right, what is this?
It's a Die Hard
You didn't see the
battery
commercial during the
Here,
football this weekend?
I'll find
No.
It was Die Hard, and it's for Die Hard batteries, and they had Bruce Willis, and it's basically they're recreating Die Hard, but and he's trying to get a battery to put in his car.
All right,
They spent a lot of money on this commercial. It's pretty impressive.
did they make him look younger, or was it old man?
No,
Willis?
he's a grizzled old man.
Okay.
Like Ashton Kutcher's definitely banging his wife.
He looks like a old battery.
Oh,
All right, hold on. I'm trying to find it for you. I have to snag this from CNN, I think.
I found it on YouTube real fast. I
did
showed
you?
it to the assistant today.
All right, hold on. Okay, here we go.
So it's a Duracell Die Hard.
No,
Willis.
Die Hard.
Oh, what's the
hell?
company?
The battery. The battery's called Die Hard. It's a Die
Oh.
Hard battery.
Oh, I don't know. Hold on. The brand is called Die Hard.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
They used to sell them at Sears all the time.
Yeah, it's at Advanced Auto Parts or whatever now.
it's like a
Okay.
car battery, right?
Yeah, car
Okay,
battery.
Hold on, let me get it.
Which they shoot the battery and it still works, which I don't believe. Which that was the only problem I had with this
It's
commercial.
a commercial.
I know.
Well, you wanted a quiet life, John. Dead batteries, empty streets.
Theo. That's the hacker from the first movie. He doesn't look the same.
Welcome to Advanced Auto Parts.
I need one of those. Is there another way out? Come on. You kidding me?
Did you know we have free installation?
I hate this already, by the way.
I don't like
No
it.
one's breaking a window, and she's gonna be like,
Hi, welcome to Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah, I
like,
don't,
what the hell, dude?
I don't like it.
Battery, and you're gonna complain about it as a commercial.
I don't like it. I think it's stupid.
I hate it, but I also hate Die Hard. So there you go.
I wonder
Oh,
how.
Die Hard's awesome.
Oh, tactical hat from our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/DomadanLive. Live. This is stupid.
I wonder how
Thank
much
you, tactical. I agree with you.
that cost them. Like
Too
Oh.
much.
Oh, they spent so much money on that for sure. That's why That's why I kind of like it because they wasted a lot of money on a battery that I'll probably never buy.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to ask. It's like because that's what I find fascinating about like they must have obviously had a marketing agency come up with this whole plan and this launch, and it was a big
Yeah.
deal that you get Old Man Willis and the old cast of Die Hard. It's going to be viral, which it probably was, and that at least.
Actually, I have to correct you. Old Man Willis is Todd Bridges.
Yeah, sorry.
What you talking about, Tom?
And so I can't even venture to guess how much money they spent on this, but
Too
10
much.
10 million more, like
I don't
15
know.
million, like
Well,
something.
they crash a car. They blow up a bunch of stuff. They spent a lot of money on it, at least.
Yeah, but I mean-
just that the property alone probably cost them a couple million.
And this can't be the first time they thought of this, right?
Right.
This was like their
I
white
wonder
whale.
if there was a lawsuit that Die Hard sued the movie, like the battery company sued the movie, and then like this is their like get back at each other. Like, okay, we're cool now. You can make a commercial using our movie.
It's just I guess you can make the argument. It's like, all right, this went so viral, people talked about it. We talked about it every morning.
Yeah, but we didn't
wacky
want
morning-
to talk about
Every
it. The
wacky
only
morning
reason
show.
we talked about it is because a dumber person on our show brought it up.
I didn't even know I now see, I remember, oh yeah, Die Hard is a battery, but I didn't realize that. Maybe that's the whole thing.
You're the target audience then.
So maybe
Yeah.
You're
Aren't
the
you gonna
guy.
put in your Trump truck there, Tom? You need a Die Hard battery.
But I
probably.
wouldn't choose that, or I just choose the cheapest one or whatever,
I just get, honestly, I'm with Tom. I give them, I go in there
Yeah,
and they're
it's
like,
like-
what do you need? I'm like, it's for a Tiguan 2016, my wife's. They're like, here you are. And I'm like, is that the cheapest one? They're like, it is the cheapest one. I was like, they're all the
Does
same.
it have the extended warranty?
And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all the same. He's like, you don't want the warranty. No, they're nice to me. They're like, you don't want the warranty. Here's a little packet of the grease. Put that
Yeah.
on there.
It's like,
Yeah.
you
Make
know,
sure the connectors are clean.
so
yeah.
they're like, okay, this has a 2-year warranty, but the guy's like, it'll last 3 years. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I never really brand awareness for batteries.
Well, there's Interstate. There's Die Hard.
Uh,
Those are the only ones I know.
Isn't there Everlast or something
Ever-
like that?
Everlast.
Yeah. I just whatever. Give me the
So
cheapest.
according to this article I'm reading, it costs $2 million for that.
Okay,
ad.
All right, that's reasonable.
All right.
That's not that bad then.
I
Okay.
thought they would have to pay Willis a lot more for that. I like calling him
And
Willis.
apparently, also according to this article, it's supposed to be more of an advanced auto parts ad, and they're combining it with Die Hard
Oh,
battery.
they put the money.
Yeah.
That's called a co-op.
Yeah, we do a lot of
Yeah.
those. Yeah. All the Amcos in our dealer have pooled our money to get Tom and Dan to talk about them.
Yeah.
It's like going to
Double
7-Eleven
A,
to get Oreo
meh,
cakesters
MCL.
from Tom
Yeah.
or Junkie the Bear.
You just you co-op with Die Hard throws in some money. Advanced Auto Parts they put in a bunch of money.
But then
you
they
know.
usually bicker about who got like make my logo bigger, say my name more times.
There's also
Yeah, whose goes first?
and Daniel and I have seen this in when it gets into these huge companies, like there's a little bit of a DL competition between like this owner and CEO and this company and this other company.
Oh yeah,
like,
they'll waste money just
to impress
yeah.
like the other guys.
the
It'd be
furniture
like,
company we worked for
yeah,
used to do that.
You got Bruce Willis and you're and then all the other companies.
I had my daughter just had a Sweet 16 and Bruno Mars was there. Oh really? Well, Kid Rock played my wife's when she got her birth present, a push present.
So like Pep Boys and the AutoZone, they're like all
yeah.
mad. They're like, oh yeah,
Oh,
they did
yeah.
it. They you know.
We'll show you, Pep Boys. We'll get the real Aaron Brockovich to appear in our commercials.
It means something to those guys. Like, what do they care? They're
yeah.
stinking rich. None of this
They're
matters.
bored. That's why they do it.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
When your job is to only check numbers occasionally, your finances are in order. You got guys running it, and your job is just to ride your yacht.
so whatever.
around.
Yeah, you threw out $2 million. It only gives you technically $1 million in return. Whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
Your new best friend's Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Great job.
Well, the last thing I have is The Witches with Anne Hathaway. It comes out on the 22nd, so it's this week, and it's the retelling of Roald Dolls, but Octavia Spencer's in it, so she's going to be probably serving Anne Hathaway a doo-doo pie.
What is The Witches?
The Witches. Remember that it was back in the day. It had Angelica Houston was the main witch in the original one that I remember seeing.
I've never
I
seen
think it was
it.
in the 1990s, where the kids turn into mice.
No, I'm familiar with it. I just never
Oh.
seen it, so it's on my list.
Okay, I have seen that. So this is a sequel?
No, this is a retelling. So they're redoing it. It's like with instead of the old white lady, it's Octavia Spencer who's in The Help. She's the one that made the doo-doo pies.
Yeah.
She's the mom. She's like the grandmother in it, and then her kid gets turned into a mouse, and they
Wait,
got to defeat
doo-doo
the witches.
pies? You said pie. She made more than one doo-doo pie?
Didn't she in The Help? I've never seen the whole Help. I only saw that part of it.
Wait a minute, that's breaking news. I didn't know there was more than one poo pie.
I never even seen the movie, but I know there's a doo-doo pie, and I've
Yeah.
always
She
wondered
feeds it to the racist lady.
how much doo-doo. It couldn't be all doo-doo.
No.
Like what
And you put
portions? Is it 1 to a million portions?
It's 1 to
doo-doo, or
3,
is it-
and you put it on the bottom near the graham cracker crust. you don't put it on the top.
You'd
You
have to
cover it with the fudge to
Yeah.
bury it.
And if it is just like a tiny bit of doo-doo and it's
No,
evenly
you
put
got,
out,
no,
like,
you got to spread it out like
you're
it's
like,
when
well, I assume there's a tiny bit of doo-doo in everything I eat.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
there is. Newsflash, there is.
I
but
mean,
it's like when
minuscule
you're
amount.
okay. Follow me with this. It's like when you go to Einstein Brothers Bagels and you get a bagel.
Yeah.
And you get your cream cheese on the side. You smear the cream cheese on the big half, right? The balloony half that's got the toppings on it.
Yeah.
the everything bagel that has all the toppings, right?
That's where you put the majority. The lion's share of cream cheese goes on there.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit, at the end for your heel part, the lower half.
Yeah.
So that represents the amount of doo-doo you have for said pie.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to have to stretch that doo-doo all over that graham cracker crust and get it real spread out really, really good. But you're also going to, it's a dangerous job, and I'll tell you why. Graham cracker crust, if it hasn't set properly, if it doesn't have enough butter down in those crumbs, it's going to flake up. So you're going to have to use maybe a butter knife and go maybe even one of those like those knives you use for icing, and you're gonna have to go maybe put the crust in the freezer for at least 30 minutes beforehand to harden it up before you go to smear, because you don't want that stuff to flake up.
We're talking about a doo-doo bagel, right?
No, we're talking about.
Don't say it.
We're
All right, EJ. What else? You got anything to plug or anything like that?
No, I got nothing. I'm still COVID.
Hey, can we talk to
shut
that
down.
lady?
You want to talk to Kendra, my new lady?
Yeah.
She's afraid, I think. She's over there.
Hey, put your mask on. That's not a That's not a diaper. It's a mask.
Don't leave her alone. She's nice.
My God.
What are the machines in there?
Yeah. My God, are you guys
Are
making
we gonna
dildos?
talk about how I have two
It looks
fax
like you're in a
machines that are
Taiwanese
ancient?
dildo factory. It's like a bunch of ladies nude with shower caps on, and they're filling plastic into these weird molds that look
Well,
like alien
she
dolls.
remembers you guys. She used to listen to you guys way back in the day too. She remembers Drunky's on this show. Let me get the media password. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it to you.
Serious.
guys.
Yeah, I knew that.
It's his go-to, and he's always.
It makes you so happy.
I knew it.
Don't take this away from me.
All right, EJ. I guess we'll see you next week. I don't know. If you call, which
We got nothing better to do.
If you call, we'll pick up.
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, love you guys. Bye.
All right, we get out of here. Okay, there's EJ live from the dildo factory. I couldn't tell what that lady was holding, but it looked like she had a gun. A taser or something.
Is that a one giant cubicle, or is that
It's a holding pen of some sort, yeah.
It's the copy room, and they just put a couple desks in
Okay,
there.
that's what I want to say.
really
Yeah,
is.
That's what it looks
How
like.
do you get a desk into a closet door? How do you get it? You got to take its legs off, right?
It looks like it was a room that's original purpose was something else, and then they're still slowly putting
kind of like
It's
what
the
we
office
call
space.
our
Yeah,
lobby.
yeah.
which, used to be like a real office space.
It's like they just start moving.
Keep moving the desk. Yeah.
Down into you're next to the radiator.
She was awfully far away from him.
Well,
And
I
does
mean-
anybody clean that place? My God.
It's horde crazy.
Yeah, it's like
it's the office supply room. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's
it's
why people
weird.
keep coming in to get supplies.
What's weird is that it would be hard for me to set my coffee mug on a box of paper that has that yellow band over the top to hold it tight. You know what I'm talking about? You got to cut it off, and it goes, sink!
Yeah. It's like, why it's so tight, bro?
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
It's too excessive, man.
All right. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here, and Butler is in the other room ordering some surprises.
So we got a guest on our on Skype with us, and he's here to talk about a virtual fundraiser for the Central Florida Zoo.
Yeah, man.
It's happening on Thursday. My boys love going to the zoo.
So does Maisie.
And I wanted to ask him a couple questions about it, but on Skype with us right now, Steven Guskowski. How you doing, Steven?
Very good, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Thanks so much for being on the line. And tell us a little bit about your virtual event and how all of our listeners can help out our local zoo.
Sure, I'd love to. Actually, I don't work for the zoo. I work, I'm a financial services representative with New York Life. And we were kind of kicking around with everything that's been going on with the pandemic, what we could do to help out in the local area. I know the zoo through I'm a member of the Seminole County Chamber of Commerce, and I've gotten to know the CEO and some of the zoo staff pretty well, and was going over with them, what's been happening and the huge losses, like $2.5 million they're going to lose this year, with the pandemic. And I want to see what I could do. I help people with their money. I want to see how I can help them.
Yeah.
So we put together this virtual fundraiser to try and help them out.
Steven, I got to be completely honest.
That's your voice coming through his speaker is very loud.
Steven, can you turn down your speaker?
Yes.
All right, sorry. I gotta be completely honest. My producer told me, "Did you read the thing I wrote for you?" And I'm like, "I read it."
Wait, you're doing
Get
it.
off my back!
You're doing the thing you hate. Oh my god.
And then I was like, "Get off my back!" I read it, and I did not read it. All I know is
I thought you were an actual zebra. I thought you were a zoo animal.
I wrote down questions, and my first one was rhinos. What's up with that?
Oh my god. I'm sorry, Steven.
And then I got an email, and it said, "I need help promoting the zoo."
Steven owns the zoo on a piece of paper. That's what I wrote.
And then I'm like, "I like the zoo. I'm gonna help them promote the zoo." And then I'm like, "Samantha, book this." And then she wrote this all the information. And I'm like, "I got it. Steven works for the zoo."
We've got
Ask
Steven
him
on the
about
line. Now,
rhinos.
Steven, you actually live at the zoo. What's it like living inside of a zoo, Steven?
Jesus.
Well, I live next to the zoo, and I can tell you that unicorns are real. They're just rhinoceroses, and they're ugly.
So Steven, let's talk about how the Central Florida Zoo is funded, because it basically relies on donation
It does.
and the support of the people.
Boy, and
to
us
keep it
going
running,
out there, right? And right now, it's a little more difficult to make your zoo trip.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm. There's a lot of road construction going on. If you go there, it looks like the zoo's closed. They were closed for 3 or 4 months because of the pandemic. They're at limited capacity and limited hours right now. They're open 9 to 3. They're a nonprofit. We're not talking like one of the theme parks or anything like that. They rely on the attendance and the events that they do, and a lot of that's been shut down this year. So I'm just trying to help them out any way I can.
Yeah, no, 100%. I also had another question that you probably can't help me out with now that I realize it, because this whole thing also.
I'll make it up.
All right. Well,
Look, he's just here to help the zoo, man. I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
at
he's
this
just
point.
a good person trying to help raise money for the zoo.
Well, I don't know if he has
any zoo necessary.
I don't know if he has the
Any-
connections now that I thought he did. Where because
You need zoo connections?
I thought he was Steven, owner of the zoo. That's what I
Oh my
wrote
God.
down in my virtual notes that I keep in my head. That's where the real notes are kept. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna help Steven promote the zoo.
Yeah.
And then what I really want is a line on how to get in touch with this trampoline guy at the zoo, because my boys love the trampoline man.
Yeah.
And
He
every
was
time
having a bad day last time I was there. He took the top off his Gatorade and he dumped it right into the bushes, and he was mad. He was real mad.
And I was like, maybe they can give me a connection with Trampoline Man, and I can get him over the house. I'm a hero to my boys.
Then Tommy got in some ants next to
Yeah.
him, and then we had to dust his feet off, and then Trampoline Man was mad about that.
And from doing this for so long, I usually, when I help places promote their thing as a little bit of payola, and then they let me come behind the scenes, and I'm
Yeah,
riding.
like what you do with the penguin guy from SeaWorld.
Don't talk about it.
Oh.
I never talk about it.
Hey, Steven, have you ever seen the penguins at SeaWorld? Tom's got a guy. I'll let you go back there. You can slap him around.
Don't say it. No. So anyway, Steven, any way to get my sons behind the scenes? I'll put them on a rhino, that kind of thing. Pet the ostrich.
I don't know if you can get them on the rhino, but I'm pretty sure they'd be happy to host the Tom and Dan show and a corporate time, or whatever you guys are calling it these days.
There's so many names. We deserve all of that.
Steven, it's too confusing.
Yeah.
We got 2, 3,
Too much.
5 shows going on that we don't even know.
Some
which,
of them I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what's going on with some of them. Some of the shows we haven't done in months, I don't even know if the people that did them with us are still alive.
yeah, it's too confusing.
But
It's,
I could certainly hook you up with my zoo connections. Yes.
No, all right. Now we're talking. So, Steven, with this virtual event, can people just donate online as they watch?
Yeah, that's actually what we prefer. I mean, obviously, it's about the zoo. If you can donate anytime, that's great. But we've got it set up as to where the donation is done directly through the zoo's website. We don't need a third party. So, it's not like a GoFundMe where GoFundMe's getting their cut. 100% of the proceeds are going directly to the zoo. If you donate during the event, at least $20, you go into a prize drawing. I've got a bunch of companies, local companies that have donated prizes and gift baskets and gift certificates and things like that. If you make a donation of at least $20 during the event from 5:30 to 6:30, you have a chance to win a prize.
Nice.
In addition, I got to give a shout out to Reliance AV. It's a new company in the area. They do online conferencing, things like that, video and audio setup and stuff like that for businesses. They donated 2 55-inch TVs, smart TVs. That's awesome. We'll be giving those away as the grand prizes to the largest donations, the 2 largest donations that we get for the evening.
Awesome.
Stop screaming at Steven, please.
I don't know why.
I don't know why you're screaming at him. I've been watching him, dial in that volume button, and you're so abusive to our guests. And abusive.
I can take it.
You know what? Tom and Dan is willing to donate 35-inch TV and to
Wait
the
a minute,
cause.
that's my 35-inch TV. That's the one I want.
Oh, no.
It's the only
No one
thing.
uses
It's
it.
the only thing I have.
It's smaller than my iPhone. You can't even see it. So also, Steven, another thing that I wanted to talk about is that it's super expensive to take care of all these animals. In all seriousness, we're messing around, but people forget like every single animal there has to be fed.
Right.
You have to be
taken care of.
you have to pay for doctors to take care of them. And we know people that some BDMs volunteer at the Central Florida Zoo, and everybody cares about what they're doing and cares about the zoo and cares about the animals. And if we want a zoo in our town, you have to support it because without it, then it feels like if we didn't have a zoo in Central Florida, we wouldn't be a real city.
It's true. Yeah, in this particular event, No Zoo Without You, a virtual fundraiser. It's Thursday, October 22nd at 5:30 to 6:30. That's when you jump online and throw those donations. Hopefully you've donated enough to get a prize.
Yeah, make sure you register ahead of time, though. A lot of times we found, like, with promoting it through Facebook and such, the people are clicking going, but they're not actually hitting the registration.
Gotcha.
We can hold up to 1,000 people on our Zoom account. So we'd like to have, people begging to get in. That would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly try to get the word out for you, man. And thanks so much for the time, and good luck with the fundraiser. We'll definitely pop in there and try to give some money.
I appreciate real quick to answer Tom's question. It costs $15,000 a day to operate that zoo.
Wow.
And we'd like to, my goal is if we can get, 1,000 people on this thing and get $20 a person on average, that raise a good 20,000. That's just a drop in the bucket for what they need.
Yeah.
I wonder if did you ever see Tiger King and you saw his business model where you got old Walmart meat?
Yeah, it's bad. The Walmart meat, I don't know.
I feel like
I would be willing to give you guys as much Walmart meat as we can wrangle. I mean,
there's some old Walmart meat and some old Tostinos and see if they.
I don't know.
Crush them up.
I can't see a rhinoceros horning some old Totino's pizzas or Mama Celeste's.
We're like, oh, look at
that Dave Carol Baskins just came out as being them bisexuals today.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? What happened?
Is she? She's bisexual?
Yeah, she came out as bisexual.
I didn't know that, Steven. I thought you were making a completely inappropriate joke.
Yeah, it's true.
You rattled
I was
my
going to do
brain.
that for his
I was like,
portrait.
oh man, I didn't read that.
I go, goddamn, Steven's playing along. All right, let's do this.
Let's go, Todd.
I was like, Steven's
Don't
waving
yell it's go time.
Steven's waving the it's go time. Let's get crazy flag.
Why did she come?
Well, what is it? Why does she? Why
Does
do I
anybody
care?
care?
I don't care if
I
she's
don't either.
bisexual.
Why does she think anybody cares about her sexuality? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, people care you're a murderer. They're trying to get us off the path. People think you're killed.
Well, now that I know you're
husband?
bisexual, I don't think you're a murderer.
yeah, well, weird.
Steven, well, thanks for that tidbit, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Way to hit it out of the park at the very end. My God, a little tidbit of knowledge we didn't know about.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate your time and you helping me out. And if the listeners can get behind it, that would be great.
For
Yeah,
sure,
no
man. We'll
problem.
definitely do it, and have a good rest of your day, all right?
Thanks a lot.
Oh,
Oh, he's going to get you.
Oh!
You thought Carol Baskins was gay.
This is big. I love it. Ooh, that guy's gonna gay you, bro.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, we made Samantha want to quit so early.
I just spit out my bubbly.
Every day, if I can make you want to
It
quit,
was a
I
tiny
win.
baby.
Like Tommy. It was like Tommy. You look just like Tommy when you did it. You're like, yeah. Like if I said, hey, you guys want to go to Jeremiah? I was like, yeah.
Yay.
Oh, my God.
Why do you want me to quit?
David, I'm sorry about that.
Just for the comedy of it. It was funny if
$15,000 a day.
it's got to be way
Last
cheaper
time
than
I was
that.
there. Now look, I'm just
Yeah.
saying what I see. Last time I was there, I didn't see a ton of animals.
Yeah.
Because they were in transition. You know, they're bringing things in, taking things out, moving this guy, putting this guy in.
Honestly, it's probably so expensive to run a zoo because
I bet it's insane.
because they're
probably
probably
more than 15,000.
there's so many animal rights activists that are on top of them, and any mistake they could make could shut them down, any bad publicity or whatever.
Right.
So they have to be so over the top caring for the animals, even though they want to begin with. But I'm saying they probably have to go above and beyond anything that is even necessary just so they don't have any bad press, because all it takes is for one person to jump a fence and be like, look at this rhino. It's miserable.
There's rhinos back there cleaning his handguns.
Or like it's eating less than what it should be, or I don't know.
That rhino is eating a bucket of whatchamacallit, Hershey's whatchamacallit bars.
So that's what I've always said, like, even with the whole blackfish thing in SeaWorld, I'm like, I've met these people that take care of the animals. Like, they love these animals more than the other humans. Like, this is what they're into.
Well, they tell me that.
Like, they are not. This is
Like
not
I tell
some,
my wife, I love you. She's like, I love my dogs more.
It's not some Russian circus that, like, you got some Putin whipping the bear and nailing his feet to the bicycle pedals. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not that. This is, like,
well, you could get him.
They care and
you
they
can get
want
him clip-in shoes.
Yeah.
You don't have to nail his feet anymore.
Too far.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like in Russia,
Just hot glue it.
The
It'll
animal
come
abuse,
off.
the donkey parasailing, everything. Anyway, I don't think Steven didn't. We were going
Well, this
too
was
goofy.
Steven didn't know what he was getting into, and
And you
neither
guys
did we.
didn't either because you
Yeah.
didn't read the paper.
No.
Good for you.
Well, I looked at it enough to know that I was like, yeah. I'm gonna let Tom.
Here's why I'm a good person.
That's normally what I do. I go, okay, yeah, Tom will read all that.
In my mind, because I was like, you know what, the zoo needs help. I'm going to forward this email. I'm not going to read or do anything.
Yeah.
At all to even put 1 ounce of effort into it. But I'm going to forward the email to Samantha and say, book this interview. I'm going to help the zoo.
That's what I do.
And then when they call, I don't even bother to figure out who I'm talking to or what the thing is. Or
I do
what.
one of those a day.
I
send one email
and then I'm
to
like,
Sam.
I'm a hero.
Yeah, but I do it differently. I sent her one yesterday, and I was like, this is a charity thing. I was like, you can do this. I like maybe book this. What do you? I usually go like thoughts or what do you think? And then if I don't hear back, I'm assuming Sam's booking it, and then I put my feet up and I'm like,
I'm a hero.
I'm saving the children.
Because
Because that's what it's all about. Saving the children.
Yeah. And then we could sleep at night. We're like, I do a lot of
My
stuff.
wife's like, what'd you do today? I was like, save the blanking zoo. What'd you do?
Yeah. And I'm not even really sure if that will do anything. I mean,
No, it
listeners-
definitely did something. We had Steven on.
Yeah.
Single-handedly saved the zoo.
No, okay. Yeah.
Like, we don't do that interview.
No zoo.
Thousands of dead animals.
Oh, man.
If you're listening to this right now, you're a hero. But if you're not listening to this, if you're listening to this right now, you can call your friend and say, "Hey, are you listening to this?" And if they say no, then you say, "Well, these animals' blood is on your hands." That's what I would do.
Yeah, it'll be an atrocity. The rhinos was stomping out.
Steven's
leopard.
texting me. He said he's serious about getting us in there to, ride some rhinos.
I knew it would work.
Yeah, it's gonna be. He said, "I'll give you the hookup."
Yeah.
He's like, "You guys are here. You saved the zoo."
It's all
Actually, he didn't know it was me. He's like, "Are these the guys to save the zoo?" I was like, "Yeah, Steven, we just talked to you."
What other animals do they got there that I can pet?
I don't know.
Because that's what I want. I want to bring my sons to pet the animals.
I only want stuff to ride. I'm all about rideability of the
Okay,
animals.
all right.
I want to ride everything. You know, the hardest one to ride is a giraffe, because where do you ride him? Do you ride him at the bottom of his neck, or do you sit on the top of his head? I don't know.
Well, you hold on to his neck and you.
But the view.
Yeah.
It's kind of lackluster. I mean, the view from the bottom of a giraffe's neck, you might as well be sitting on a rhino. I want to go up to the top where he's got those 2 dildos that come off of his head.
Oh yeah.
They're like
nubs.
mushroom antlers.
Yeah, the nubs.
Yeah, his fighting nubs. I want to hold on to both of those like joysticks.
Yeah.
Like I'm working a crane.
But then if he got mad, he started whipping his head around.
Well, that's when you slide down and you hold the bottom of the neck. You're like, joke's on you. Not going up there again.
All right. Well, save the zoo. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha and Butler are here. Guys, if you don't know that we do a video component of the show every single day, well, I'm yelling it at you right now. You can go to Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. We have a wonderful chat room with lots of our chat room listeners in there right now. You can chat, you can talk, you can watch the show, make new friends, send the show some tips. We record those shows and we put them on YouTube every single day. Just search Tom and Dan Live.
Let's do some Who's Porking.
All right. Why is it so low? Oh, because I potted it down for EJ. Here we go. In recent days, it's been harder for me to think of these songs. It's because my brain is rotten. I keep telling my wife there is something wrong. She says it's just grief, that's what happens. And eventually you'll have to wait out time. And then I grab the knife and I polish it. And I look at her throat.
We love porky.
Shave my hair off.
Who's Porking brought to you by Porky's Barbecue right there in downtown Apopka. Swing by Porky's Porky's Apopka.
Gotta work on that. So this week, I was going to do the Carol Baskins came out as bisexual. Well, no, I don't even know. Like you said, Tom, I'm not really sure if she just randomly put that out there or if she was in an interview and somehow it came out. But instead,
I don't know why anybody would even ask
Well,
that.
she's pretty nutty. Let's we all can agree on that, right?
She lives
she's an eclectic person.
She lives a...
Who knows what nutty people or why they do nutty things.
She's just a crazy cat.
But instead, I went with Aunt Anstead. You guys familiar?
Aunt Anstead.
Wait, that's the pretzel lady.
It's a guy.
Oh.
He is one of the hosts of the show Wheelers and Wheelers Dealers, and he also is married to
Wheelers Dealers.
Wheelers Dealers. He's a auto guy, right? So he does a lot of stuff for Channel 4, like a lot of the car show presentations,
like
and stuff.
the Meekum stuff, like the.
Not familiar.
Not the
because
auctions.
I don't follow any of that.
Car auctions.
But he's married to a woman named Christina Anstead, and they have recently separated. But he has come out on Instagram saying that he is going through a breakup recovery course.
All right. What is that?
I don't know. It's a 5-week program.
5 weeks?
Yeah. And it's supposed to help
I
you
can get
deal
off heroin earlier than that.
So is this like a mental this is like a well-being thing, right?
Yes, it's supposed to help you after a traumatic breakup and get you back out there.
I don't think it's a bad
on
idea.
the course of recovery.
No, they actually
and healing.
But for breakups though, I mean you could use it for anything. Well, I'm gonna curse. I could use it right now. I'm kind of doing it on my own, right? I mean, when you have something that hits your brain sideways and you don't process it well, is it such a bad thing to try to
I agree. Everybody should go
yourself?
to a therapist and work on their mind. Obviously, that's healthy for you, but
it's supposed to help you grieve your relationship so you can let it go and regain your identity.
Going to a 5-week breakup course because you're grieving over, I mean, how long were they together?
Quite a few years.
They got any kids?
From 2005 to 2018 they got married and they separated September.
Okay,
so
that's pretty new.
Like a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, like I could see it like right now if I have, with my kid and I've been with my wife 10, 11 years. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
could see maybe needing something like that.
Can you just go to your therapist and work it out with them? That you have to go to a retreat or some sort of.
They're
Like
both reality TV
Yeah,
stars because
yeah.
she's also on a Flip or Flop, one of those HGTV like house flipping shows.
Yeah.
So I always feel like those when
It's a
there's
put
two like reality people, there seems to be a lot of, stress on the relationship.
Also, people don't really live their lives. Those type of people, at least
Doesn't
this is.
seem very authentic.
Well, this is my observation. Yeah, it ties into that. I don't feel like that. At some point, they stop living their lives even for themselves, and
Yeah.
they start living their lives for what the outward appearance would mean.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying, going to your therapist quietly and working
yeah,
on it,
it's not
and,
far. Yeah.
and then exercising and then doing meditation every afternoon,
Right.
isn't the correct answer in reality star. I need to tweet about this world.
Dude,
So
yeah.
he put this on his Instagram,
Yeah,
and then
that's
it's like
bogus.
link in bio, because he's trying to basically sell this program for what it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like he's being sponsored by this
Yeah, yeah.
breakup recovery program.
That's dangerous to me, and at some point you're just taking advantage of people that are hurting like you,
Yes.
and maybe you're not hurting that bad. Oh, I don't like that.
well, it's
That sucks.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's
Hopefully, it's not nefarious, but it sort of sounds like it, right?
Well-
Sounds like very.
It's basic like what you did in radio or anything else. It's like,
No,
oh,
no.
this happened to you, or this is happening to you. Use this company; they're paying for the advertisement for you to promote it.
Right.
So it's like, all right, then.
Or
you know.
maybe he worked out a deal where maybe it's a really expensive program, and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you this free therapy if you, promote it."
they
He
with how,
grifted it, maybe.
with
Well, I
how
mean-
big he is, they're paying him like.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's probably like he broke up. They went to him like, hey, you can go through the program, but we'll also pay you to promote it. It's a perfect opportunity.
Has
and
he
they
been
do
through
that.
it or going through it currently?
He is currently going through it. He's on just past day 30 of this
Oh wow!
program.
So he's in
What
it.
was it like? Is it somewhere like you go to a place?
According to the website, the brand offers courses, retreats, coaching, and a podcast to help people design the life and love they've longed for.
Well, that's what we need to do, dude. You don't think for a second that you and I could sit here
Maybe we
and
should
write
check
up,
out the podcast.
write up some crappy, here's how to mend your life, and then we can
God.
throw a bunch of garbage out to people that listen to us daily?
I know it doesn't.
The courses involve daily videos, emails, exercises, and worksheets.
I could totally do this. It's
This is my arch enemy of everything.
I
It's just like
know
it's like
you
a
hate it.
positive.
I gotta work
But it's
in relationships.
but it's also like hey, we're gonna work on your. But I understand it though.
it could work for people.
Of course, and I understand that like you gotta
It's just not for you.
like you go through programs, retreats, or whatever, like relationship building, strength building, emotional, like make yourself better. I get it. It's just. It seems like anybody that would be involved in these programs, I'm so opposite of that. Of like I'm going to it because like
So
I
if you
broke up.
needed to
I
get
need to
over it, what would be your process? So if this is like the
Sure.
180, like
No,
what?
they just don't talk about it. Just go on, push it down.
But what if you wanted to do? Is there a language
know.
that somebody could speak to you to possibly hit a note that would resonate with you enough to do the therapy in some weird way?
I don't know because in one aspect I don't want to be
Because you're not anti it at all.
no.
And that's why I'm asking
Yeah.
the question, because I want people to understand the difference between him being, he's not saying he's anti it.
No,
He's
no.
just saying that
100% believe in therapy.
Yeah, this is not your thing. I'm trying to think as a caring person.
Believe everybody should
What
do
would
it.
I need to do to get Tom involved in the beneficial aspect of therapy, but I have to get past that hurdle of the stuff that he hates.
I just don't think it's for me, and I think
Yeah, and
that
that's
this,
the thing.
Like programs and like going to somewhere and like getting like teamwork with other people.
What about like a one-on-one scenario?
like going to a therapist like once a month or whatever it is, and just talking to a therapist about things.
That'd be more your
issues.
speed.
Yeah,
I think.
I understand.
Quietly, therapists never say a word about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see what
yeah.
you're saying.
But the grandiose team building, there is this. I look like that vow and the all the men that were in the vow
The
and
protectors?
and that were
Oh, my God.
were in this particular like program to try to help themselves with all the like be a better leader and all this stuff. Like all those guys, I'm like God, I can't see myself hanging out with any of them. Like none. Like it seems like they all have some sort of trait that is not attractive to me, and I'm like, ooh, I don't want to hang out with these guys.
What do you say?
I don't know why. This is a weird thing.
This is from
nothing bad about them. I just don't like them.
Our Twitch chat room. Kareem rises to the top. Says Tom would need to know he's not going through therapy for it to be successful. Do you agree with that?
What do you mean?
Like, I guess he's saying that in order
it had to be under the guise of not being therapy.
Yeah, like you'd almost have to be secretly involved in therapy.
We'd have to trick you, basically.
I've tried. The problem with me is that
Tom's not at all anti-therapy. That's another thing I just want to preface it by saying he encourages me. In fact, he'll be the first one to come to me and go like, dude, when's the last time you went to therapy? You might need to step it up.
Yeah, no, man.
Get back in there.
When I've done therapy, I've gone there for I want to fix a specific thing. And then when I realize, and the therapist says, like, it's getting, it's not just about fixing this thing. It's, there's more time and it's all mixed in. I'm like, I got it. And then I,
see, that's an honest answer. That's an honest answer, though. I respect the answer.
And then I'm like, I get it. It's more time, and the thing was, there's no fixing this thing.
Thank you, sir. You've got 45 minutes left. There he goes. But he got what he needed, so that's okay.
I don't think he did, though.
So like, what's your problem? This is my problem. Like, well, this will fix this. It's everything my wife hates. Not that.
Because it doesn't work that way.
I know, but
you
in
gotta put time and effort into.
By the way, I actually kind of got into us talking about this because I do find it fascinating that because you would just have to get the correct language.
Fix.
Yeah, but you just need the correct language with him, and then you get in there. Yeah, if you can get in there.
And I'm sure everybody's different.
Yeah, everybody's got a different language. I don't want to use the term love language because we're not really talking about that, but everybody has a certain way that the communication will resonate with them, will hit their brain right. But this is interesting. This is very interesting because it's one of those things where
if it's not a scam,
right? Okay, you're taking my point.
I think that it actually is a good program to have because some people do have a really bad time with dealing with breakups.
I agree.
And sometimes do, harmful things to themselves or other people.
Like Juan said, he said some breakups can be very extreme because, newsflash, some people can be very extreme. So that I understand. In fact, I'm trying to think of people, like I probably have a tendency, and I'm going to guess that Butler would have a tendency to take our breakups harder than anybody else out of the four of us. It would be me and Butler would obsess more because I think we're more sensitive. Mm-hmm. I think we are. You and Tom, though, I think would grieve in a more similar, maybe more private, maybe more guarded. I maybe wouldn't be able to read you. Does that make sense?
Probably.
Yeah. You're very hard to read. That's why I always say, like in simple terms, it's very hard to play poker with you.
It's the simplest explanation, though. It's like a magician. You think there's some complicated thing. There's no complicated. It's like I'm. There's nothing behind my actions.
Right.
I don't have any
it's just the thing.
Manipulation or whatever.
No, I believe that.
It's just like I'm just telling you. That's why I like more of like someone just tell me without any sort of weird like motivation behind it. Just like here it is. All right, okay, that's it. But these, it's just so hard for me, and I understand I need to get better at this. But for me, just not be like, come on, it's a breakup. Just get over it. Fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? And then this is I'm trying to fix, but it's hard for me to be like, come on, be stronger than that.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
That's my initial feeling. I know it's wrong. Everybody's different. You should always strive to make yourself better and to help yourself. If this helps you, good for you. Whatever.
What has affected you the most on your would it be your brother, your dad, probably your bro, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. Like for me, it'd be mom. Even more over dad. I'm trying to think of a good one though, and trying to pull this out of like death. I'm trying to think of things that have happened, like having Maisie. Yeah. Got to put that on the good side of things that tick. But I'm with you. Like in first.
But Tom hasn't even had a breakup. So maybe this kind of plays.
I wonder if that plays into
it. Of like get over it. It's just a breakup, but like you haven't had a breakup.
How many breakups have you had?
Really just one major one.
Yeah, I've had
high school boyfriend.
I've had two big ones. Two big ones.
But I kind of equate it. I can understand, like, equate it as like it's not
Like a
as
death.
bad as a death, but it's got to be in a Venn diagram of like similar feelings. Like you
That's
lost
the death
someone.
of a relationship.
Yeah. A
You're
death of-
losing them
Yeah, yeah. So
as your partner.
I'll put it to you this
So
way.
then I'm
It
like,
feels like
I-
death until you experience death.
Yeah, and my way of coping with things is just be like, all right, move on, and then never,
Never think about it again.
Yeah, and honestly,
That's not healthy.
But there are
I
elements
talked
of
to a
that that are
therapist,
healthy.
and a therapist told me is like, if that's the way you deal with it, and it's not affecting you in your life negatively that you could see or you could even point back to, then that's some way people deal with it. And then and then I was like, all right, bye bye, because all the other like, oh, you got to
Yeah, but the therapist saying if you looking back isn't affecting your life, maybe you don't realize it's affecting your life, but it has. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's if there's evidence of it, but if there's not, then just
You
saying.
tend to overlook a lot of things.
Well, but saying that that's the the causation of this, then I understand. Then it's like, oh yeah, you have to fix this problem if it's causing this. So it's like if you dealing with something poorly is causing you to be this, an addict or overdo anything, then it's like that needs to be fixed. But if like you can't see the correlation with any sort of problems, like I've had a lot of problems, and I don't equate any like a death or me dealing with feelings to them.
Yeah.
And there's really no evidence pointing that. Then it's like, okay, well then that's it. It's like
I have a
I don't know.
problem going through, to go back to this guy's or this particular place's 5-week course.
Right.
I think this is something you and I share, Tom.
Mm.
I have a problem going through the course when you're telling me things that I know.
Yes.
I'm not ready to convince myself that you are correct yet. I know you're right.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready to go there yet.
A lot of them, they tell you stuff you know how to do, and now they help you get to doing those things, and maybe that's the point. It's like anybody could do, like, okay, if you want to lose weight, there's not secret.
That's
Like
exactly what I was thinking about.
literally everybody can do it, right? And now there's different. If you have a medical problem, that's different. And like obviously, besides the anomalies,
Yeah,
like
generally,
there's an
eat
accepted
healthy, exercise.
Yeah, there's an accepted way that everybody knows how to do. But we pay a lot of money to a lot of people, to a lot of different things, companies and stuff.
And we still fail.
And then
It's hard,
when
man.
we could do it for free, so it's like, yes, sometimes you do need a personal trainer. Like
Yeah.
I got a trainer that I go to because I am
Helps
accountable.
motivate you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have an appointment, so I understand that. The same thing with the therapist I've gone to before.
Sometimes
but-
it's just the routine of.
yeah, and I haven't in a long time, but it's like, and I totally support that, and I think everybody should do it because it's like that. It's like the working out. It's like you need to go and work it out.
It's beneficial for sure.
A lot of it is you just talking it out yourself, and then you find the answers.
I honestly don't believe my therapist has said more than, I'm being real
you
with you
just
guys,
talk it
maybe
down.
more than 100 words
Really?
in 2 years. Yeah.
You-
Because I just kind of barf. You know, when
yeah.
I get in there, it's nice to just go in there and just kind of barf it out.
But then with these programs and the retreats and things, there's a business behind it. And then that's where it becomes like, all right, are you out to truly now? I assume that they are probably is like they've set this up to help people, right?
Yeah.
But they have also a business. They're out there to make money. So then there's a little bit of conflict of interest, right?
Sure.
Going into it because you're paying for money for a retreat. And it's hard to see if there's success at the end. Like if you go into a rehab, the success is if you stay off the drugs, right?
Right, yeah.
With this, it's like, all right, what
Well,
are
you're dealing with thoughts, and that's hard, man.
5 weeks later? I think it's very personal, and it depends on the person. Are they
Yeah.
going to be better at 5 weeks? How much work are you going to put into it?
Right.
Like, how much are you going to do the
I go into
process
these
of
type
it?
of things automatically,
Not magic.
and yeah, I'm just saying this, and maybe you do this too. And again, another reason why you and I are probably in business together. When I go to any doctor, whether it's a medical doctor, whether I go to my shrink, anybody, I'm going to this retreat, I immediately think I'm smarter than the person I'm talking to.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Immediately, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're good at. They might be better at that particular job than I could ever be, but I'm the top dog in any of those
Yeah.
scenarios.
See, I try to figure out too many. Crystal yells, she's like, quit trying to figure everything out. It doesn't have to be figured
I
out.
also-
I'm like, all right.
Anytime I'm in a room, anytime I'm in a room with people, I think at any moment some sort of alien or robot life form could come and lock us into this room. So then I immediately, no matter who I'm in the room with, size them up and see whether or not I can beat them up, or B, I can have sex with them.
Okay, yeah. That's
I was gonna say me too until you said that
Yeah,
last
yeah.
part. and
Well,
then
you
I'm
got
out
to do a
on
little
that.
bit of both. You got to
Yeah.
defend yourself, and then you got to repopulate the earth.
yeah, that's you know, the insanity.
Right. Well, that's right about the shrink.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Right,
You
back
guys are
to the
idiots.
Bingo Bongo,
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to the
yeah.
therapy.
Jesus Christ.
So
I hope it works out for him. I don't know. His ex-wife. Well, they've separated. They haven't actually, I think, divorced quite yet.
Yeah.
But maybe they have. She's moved on. She's
Already got
posting
a-
pics on a yacht that she just
Oh.
bought.
Oh,
yeah.
She's fine.
once
He's working on himself.
Okay, let's talk about this aspect because Crystal told me this, and she's like, once I decided I don't love you anymore, that's it. Can never go back. Let's hope that never happens because I'll.
Whoa, what kind of dinner conversation?
Golly.
Dude, that just
That's in
me,
the morning
looked
when
at
I wake
Sam
up.
and I'm like, oh my god, that was heavy.
And you also said it like in the beginning as if she already decided, because you said when I
No.
decided.
It sounded like
It's
she
a
was like
threat.
waking you up. She's like, hey,
Listen.
hey,
a
wake
threat.
up. Good
I've
morning.
decided I don't love you anymore. What?
No. She's told me
The
though.
whole chat room's like, good Christ.
No, come on. You grow. You're ever too sensitive here. That's what I live with. Every morning I wake up.
Oh, man.
Tell me I'm like,
Yeah,
tough.
dude, you are ready for
No
war.
reason, or no wonder you don't have any feelings.
this
Slap
guy's
my face.
This guy's ready for
hard.
battle.
No,
oh my god.
I said it in a wrong inflection.
You're like the mountain of marriages.
I understand what she's saying.
She's just
though.
saying
once the love's gone, there's not really a way for her to get it back.
And she's
well,
like,
that's with all women.
I think women can cut their feelings off
I do
and
too.
then be like, have no more. Guys are way more. I feel like could say a harsh
can
thing,
fall-
but to really be like, and then be sick over it for longer.
Yeah, I can find
Women
a
just
reason
cut
to
it
fall
off.
back in love with anybody.
Yeah, like I feel like the guy mopes around for
I
longer.
think that depends. I think it's different.
If it's a women's choice, no, another thing. If she gets broken up on, like she didn't say it on,
okay.
but once she decides, I think she can
Yeah.
clean cut and move on with her life.
We like
And
to
the
be
guy-
nurtured and babied because we're babies. And I feel like we're more babyish when these things happen than you guys are. You guys are more motherly, which is, yo, I'm going in a different direction. I'm taking care of everything, and we're just fat babies.
And the guy could cut it off, but then literally a week later be like, all right, back together. Like he's wishy-washy back and forth. Like I think once the woman, for the most part,
I've never seen a woman go back.
They could cut it, and then and once their feelings are gone,
Yeah.
then that was it.
Yeah.
So
It's happened to me, too. I've had girls be like, and I'm like, take me back, baby.
to me though,
It ain't happening. I didn't do nothing.
it's okay. So I think this is the hardest. I just need to understand it, and I have
Oh
a
my
hard
God,
time
we had another
understanding.
breakthrough.
What did your wife say? Stop trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I know. but
Now
I
he
need-
understands it.
but I-
Uh-oh.
I need to figure this. So, but okay, you break up with your wife, and then you have no kids, so there's no kids involved.
Yes!
And you still love her, but the things
just doesn't work out.
Like
yeah.
usually, it's a lot of things over time, right? It's not just
Yeah.
like all of a sudden you're blindsided in one
You
morning.
just realize it one day in traffic, and then you know what you have to do.
Sometimes, but that's probably rare.
You start crying.
But so for me, it's like, all right, we're broken up, and and like she didn't leave it open up a possibility to get back together. It's not like, well, let's take a break. Maybe if you prove to me, like there's nothing there's none of.
By the way, I'm not doing that. I'm not a knight. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm not going to slay a dragon.
Yeah.
Take me for what I am.
So so if you know that and you know it's truly over, to me it's like, what? I know you're sad about it. You want to be with this person, but all right, you got to move on. Like that's maybe because I'm
No, dude,
emotionally
I gotta
dead.
kill her, bro.
Because for me it's like, what? Why are you letting it affect your life? There's nothing you can do.
That's a good attitude to have.
But I understand that's not how people feel.
Not-
so,
Not everyone.
Not
A lot of
everyone.
people would want to fight for their relationship.
Yeah. But if you know there's no chance, if she told
Yeah,
you
but
that,
people will justify that there's a chance in their
But-
head.
Well,
But
I
he's-
always
but
think
he's
there's
not
a chance because
Right.
remember, I'm top dog in every scenario.
but he's not going to this retreat because he thinks he can get her back. He's
Right.
going to this retreat to try to deal with
yeah,
the breakup.
I think he knows at this point there's
It's
no.
done, yeah.
So
yeah.
so that's when I'm like, all right, well, just move on with your life. Why do you have to go and deal? What are you thinking about? What are you dealing with? The fact that you still have feelings with her, of course you do.
The only way
Well,
I can...
yeah, that's what he's dealing with.
That'll fade over time.
Yeah, but
He's
you
trying
don't
to
believe
speed
that.
it up with a 5-week course.
Can you?
I don't know.
We
Find
did-
out
let's
at the
take-
end of
No.
this 5
How
weeks.
much is it? Let's take the course.
Yeah, it takes
I should
5
look
weeks
into it,
to
right?
forget about it. The course-
You just paid me for your own time.
Yeah, the course was just, they figured out a way to a middleman make money. They're like, oh, anybody breaks up like the normal
It
time.
takes about 5 weeks
Yeah.
to get over
Yeah,
a
yeah.
breakup.
We'll just invent this course. You pay us $3,500, for the virtual course you take online, and you're gonna forget it.
You know what?
We should do
At the
that.
top, I just clicked on the link for the website, and at the top it says, "Need boundaries? This course is for you. You might want to sign up."
Yeah,
Tom.
let's take it.
Boundaries for what? Boundaries. Why do I put myself in boundaries? It's a cage. I need it free.
Oh, no.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler is here. The fish are here. The studio's rocking and rolling.
As far as the Weird Job Wednesday song goes,
Oh, no, we got new ones.
we got new ones. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I've been going back through and finding a few. We have a new one that was gifted to us rather, from Joey.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because remember, I think it was maybe even last week, I said, hey, Joey, I said, I think we got one from Joey. I played it, and then it was just a regular voicemail. And for whatever reason, when he sends me a theme song, it's in a movie format,
Okay. All right.
which
Right.
is odd. But here we go. So this is a new Weird Job Wednesday theme song from Joey.
I get up around 8 for a job that I hate, and the pay isn't great, so I'll probably be late. It's a boring ass job, but I'm working it 9 to 5. I'll put on Tom and Dan because they have a plan. Well, they don't have a plan. Well, there's kind of a plan. It's a bomb ass show, so I'll listen to it anyway. Thank you, Tom. Are you a big fat slob? Everybody, come on. Do you love your job? Everybody, today on a Weird Job Wednesday. Let's all enjoy this great Florida weather, and I'll shut up. Pariah Mike does it better all day on a Weird Job Wednesday. So the week's almost done. Make an ABC run. Grab some White Claw for fun. Grab a drink in the sun and give True Leaf a call. Gotta tip my delivery guy. Green Supplies. Are you a big fat slob? Everybody, come on. Do you love your job? Everybody, today on a Weird Job Wednesday. The good news is if they
There's
ever
like 5
get
more
laid
voices.
off
Oh, man.
20 years,
Yeah.
it'll be
We're not done yet.
amazing,
Okay.
so EA. Still a Weird Job Wednesday.
No,
That's
okay,
it.
no,
Okay,
no,
all
no.
right.
All right.
I was waiting right
Yeah.
there.
Now, was that an original, or was that supposed to be a parody? I don't know. I wasn't familiar with that.
I thought it was at first some song like new
What do
song.
I look
that
like,
I'm
Mr.
all pop
Music? What do
opera.
I look like, a
I
touch
thought you were
I
Mr.
don't know.
Music.
I think he made this up. Like he wrote
He-
a song and he played piano and sung the song. It
Yeah.
was just crazy
That's
hard.
what people can do that.
It's too much effort, Joey. It's you
Joey,
did
we
too
need
good.
a ragtime edition of Weird Job Wednesday,
Ding.
please.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding,
You
ding.
you wrote
ding.
a song, you played piano and sung the song at the same time,
Yeah, he did
recording it, and then you mastered it
But then
together.
Tom got, he wanted it to end, and he's like, we gotta get to the thing.
No. I'm
You
sitting
were
back-
uncomfortable towards the end.
I get
If I
uncomfortable.
had made you sit through another 5 seconds, you couldn't have done it.
No, I
You
can't.
could have done it. And then for the
I don't
whole
know why-
time,
Twitching.
I don't know if you know this, but on Twitch, I just put the camera on you during the entire song.
Don't do that. You're
Hey.
showing the people.
I'm showing the people how uncomfortable you are,
Yeah.
and they love it.
They're
like, this is my favorite thing when Dan puts on just Tom Cam and we watch it. He's sweating. Look at him sweat. Because that guy on the spectrum wrote a song and Tom can't handle when people do things.
Yeah. It's like Ghostbusters crossing the street.
Yeah, he can't
my
handle it.
spectrum is crossing
Oh
his.
my
and
God.
I'm like, no!
Zool!
It's getting me. I'm like, no! I don't know why it makes me uncomfortable. But like Joey's the nicest guy in the world, and he's talented. and he's doing the song, and I'm like, please stop.
And this is the guy. This is the guy that you.
I'm joking.
It's a little long.
He
But
also, in this email, he sent this song, and at the very end, he said, "Tell Tom I have a flawless new parlay theory that he's going to want to jump on." I swear to God, it said that. So, I mean, sure, crap all over the guy that you call up to get all of your special needs gambling knowledge, but when he shares his true talent, which is literally he can sit down and just tickle the ivories and sing beautifully, and you get uncomfortable and you want,
He's so nice that no matter what I say on this, he'll still help me because that's how nice he is.
Well,
I know that.
Well, one day you'll. Well, that is true. But if you do this like 6, 7 more times, he won't ever turn his back on you. Ever. But he will kill you.
Yeah.
Because if he can't have you, no one can.
But
have you.
But he'll look you in the eye while he's
Yes,
doing it.
he'll kill me out of love. Which I'm fine with.
But then he'll also. But then most people won't know because he'll have to take your corpse with him wherever he goes.
Yeah. Well, no, just my head and my hands.
Is that the rule?
Right.
Yeah,
'Cause dental records and fingerprints, yes.
Yeah,
I feel like I would stick both your hands in my back pockets. And then I just carry your head under my arm like a football.
Yeah. You can do it that way.
And I'd be nude. So there's no pockets. I can make some out of saran wrap. Hey, on line 1, we got Angry Dan.
Yeah. How you doing, Dan?
I'm well. That song, the first verse, really describes me every morning, and it was so long, I have to go back to work now. So
Oh, no. I forgot.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't do it again.
That was a long pause. It's the same song.
Oh, God. Sorry, that was the breath.
Yeah.
He took a breath.
I was supposed to do the sponsor there.
That was the stretch your legs.
Yeah. By the way,
7th verse stretch.
Our sponsor, StreamlineFlorida.com. Get a refi or mortgage with Streamline Florida.
You know what's not streamlined? That song.
What's the opposite of that?
I don't
Long
know.
line.
It's
like
stream. What's the opposite of a stream? River. A river?
Long ocean.
Ocean.
Sorry. Dan, what do you do for a living?
I am a freight forwarder. Basically, if you want to import or export something, you probably can do it, but it's very difficult and you won't want to, so you hire somebody like me.
All right.
Oh, can you get us a shipping container?
I can lease a shipping container. You want to buy one?
Yeah. What do they cost?
I don't know. I'd lease them just for the trip, to wherever it's going. You usually get a fixed amount of time, but most of the stuff we do is... Go ahead.
Butler wants to live in one.
Yeah, well, you have to bury it, and you make a container
bunker.
house.
Yeah.
Bunker. They're good for like super retro, like
little houses.
Yeah. You put
a lot of them are all rusty and corroded, and they'll leak in water and things. They are not airtight, watertight.
Yeah. We just put some caulking on there.
Yeah, it's fine. Put a wallpaper on it.
So, import-export. So, you're a third-party company that basically helps me ship. Like, let's say I want to ship a car to Europe.
We don't move vehicles.
Oh, no. Well, that's all I want to do with Dan.
Well, you're not
that's all I want to do.
You're not going to work with Dan.
All right, so, moving,
how about an animal? Can I get a parrot?
Hold on. My wife used to do this. She used to work for a company that did only international shipping, and her company had, like, eBay and Google
look at this guy.
and some other, that was their clients, and so she
did personal effects, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do personal effects either. We do commercial shipments. Personally, I specialize in a lot of live animals and defense products.
Whoa! You ever brought in a duck?
How many ducks?
No duck. Rhinoceros, 11 elephants, cheetahs, monkey.
Hold on.
Wait, you said
spiders,
monkeys.
scorpions,
so
snakes.
only one monkey?
So let's go back to elephants, Dan. Okay, so how do you go about shipping an elephant?
So this was the biggest shipment I've ever had to handle. This was a guy in Africa. They were shipping 4 elephants to a zoo in Tampa, and the other 7 were going on to California. And PETA tried to sue them to stop it. They stood up in court and said they'd rather the elephants die than spend one day in a zoo. And so that's when the judge gave the green light to let this all happen. And then real quick, we put this all together on a charter flight so that PETA didn't have time to organize against it. We basically put them on a charter 747.
My God, you're a hero.
The floors have rollers on them, so you can just roll whatever you have on them right up to the door. We had a crane to lift them up and put them on a flatbed, tarped them over, and had a police escort back to the zoo from the Tampa International Airport.
Wow.
So at the
You got to
end,
clear fish and
You gotta put a
wildlife,
helmet on the
agriculture,
elephant.
customs.
If you get into an accident and you're pulling elephants, they all die, right? I mean, you got to shoot them all.
Yeah, you won't.
Because your 18-wheeler goes over, and those things, when they fall, I mean, they don't just, get back up, ouchie. It's more like they fell, their leg exploded. You got to go bolt its head.
Their weight of their body
Yeah.
will crush their rib cage.
Yeah, like fat people.
So, are they in a cage? Like,
no.
Yeah, so it was
King
like a
Kong?
metal or a steel. It was like a steel cage, and the bottom half was sealed up, so it was like a solid metal base. And then about waist high, it went to bars, like a cage that you would expect. And one of the elephants had his trunk hanging out and put it on my shoulder while we were doing the inspection with Fish and Wildlife. You could see them. They were a little bit doped up just to kind of keep them calm, but they were still awake and standing and everything. We got up there, Fish and Wildlife does the inspection, Agriculture does the inspection, Customs and Border Protection does the inspection. They give us the green light, and we take them off.
so what does it cost if you want to ship?
11 elephants.
Yeah, how many elephants total?
That was 11. It was 7 to one location and 4 to the other.
All right, so shipping 11 elephants, what's that going to run me?
Oh, well, you charter the aircraft, right? You could put one elephant on it or however many it can fit. You're paying for that full aircraft, and that was...
I mean, at our 10-year anniversary, I saw 11 elephants arrive in an F-150.
Oh, my God.
God damn it. That would
I think those were hippos, sir.
So okay, you just charter the plane, and whatever the hell you put in there weight-wise, it's up to you.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, at that point, but generally what we do is we're just taking a particular amount of space or weight from an airline like British Airways or Delta or something like that. Not everything we do is a charter.
Do you have a guy that rides in the back with a pith helmet and a whip? Because that's what I want. And then a tiny revolver in case things go wrong. Yeah. Like, is there some sort of... Is there a whipman back there just in case they get crazy?
There's a veterinarian with some drugs.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, these are great drugs, man. Are we there yet?
It's a different time. What happened to the old traditional whipman?
Back in, you know, the country's changed a lot. When you're transporting elephants, you don't even have a goddamn whipman on it.
You got a doctor with a syringe.
We got the whipman sampler? The whipman sampler was the treat she gave the whipman when he's whipping those elephants' toes off. He's just whipping.
You would send him a sampler so the whipman wouldn't get hungry on the ride.
Hey, Whitman,
It's a Whitman sampler.
You've been softening up. I sent you the sampler so you'll whip them good.
I think you guys on Friday talked about those rats, that giant pouched rat that finds landmines in Africa.
Yeah,
It's a Seth story.
Seth talked about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get you mixed up.
I did give him more details
That's what I
because
thought.
Seth is...
Sorry, I just want to make sure I don't get killed.
I'm importing those in 2 days, actually, into Chicago.
Whoa, Chicago.
Why they bring them to Chicago?
They love the Bulls.
There's a zoo in Indianapolis that wants them.
The mine rats? The poor countries with the mines need them.
Don't lock those up. They're the only ones we got. We need those running through every field we have.
We're like, look at these rats. They can find fake mines. We're like, people are dying.
Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock them up.
So, okay, so you do commercial, and now... Do you have to know all the laws because...
You can't import that. That's an Egyptian sarcophagus.
Well, my wife went through this. With international shipping, every different country has different rules and things. And she's seen, there have been huge problems because you didn't know what you could and couldn't bring into a company or into a country. And then they find it, and then they're like, hey... You're going to jail for this, and they're like, "What? I didn't know." And you're like, "Yeah, you're going to jail." And
I told my wife to take all of the teens out of my drawers before we ship them.
So, do you have to be familiar with all the countries' import and export laws?
Yes, kind of. I mean, I'm not going to put in all that time to memorize. There's enough regulations in the U.S. I can keep track of those, much less all the other parts of the world. So. We rely on an agent network where if you want to bring something from France, I talk to my French agent and I say, hey, what do we need for this? And then they tell me, and we rely on their expertise in their side, and they rely on our expertise on our side.
Gotcha. Okay.
It can come back to screw us if we're dealing with somebody like you who's just tell them what they want to hear. I don't know, just do it.
Oh, wow.
How'd you know my business plan?
Yeah. Did you
Have you been
read
reading my
his diary?
Have you been reading my business book? So
you couldn't think of a title either, could you? Both of us are like, that's how you know we're getting older. We're like, think of a title, think of a title, think of it. And I'm like, he'll say it. And I was like, what's it called? Art of the Deal? Art of the Deal. Just make Art of the Deal something stupid and then yell it at him, you idiot. And I couldn't do Fart of the Deal.
And then,
Pizza party for Sam.
And then I was like, he'll do it.
It's a pretty sad day when I can't even muster out and squeak out one little fart of the deal.
So, what about
what's the weirdest?
Your job sucks.
What?
This is the first one.
No, this is a
I
great
can't
job.
come up with anything.
No, tell me
was
the
weird.
Boring.
What is the weirdest thing that you've ever imported? That, like you said, you specialize in animals, but what's maybe the two questions? Sorry to hit you with a Tom because I know he's the king of the twofer. But first question would be strangest thing you've imported, and then my follow up to that would be: have you ever had something that you thought was going to, be a relatively piece of cake, bringing it in, and it just became a logistical nightmare?
This thing, we brought in elephant semen. They brought in some jizz from an elephant somewhere so that they could run some tests and put it in the database and, I don't know, artificially inseminate or something, trying to classify that material. Every item that you bring in has a tariff number, and trying to figure out what the tariff number was for jizz was quite complicated. But we figured that out and brought in the tube.
Everybody knows it's number 4.
yeah. Say number 4, sir. Yeah. We have to bleep out the J word. I don't know for certain, but I think
I
we
think
do.
you should be able to say it.
Yeah.
But
I want to say it.
Yeah, I want.
Oh, I apologize. I forgot. This is ACT.
No, you're good. I want to import the J word.
Yeah, you may be able to say it. I don't really know the rules
have to
anymore.
look into it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I could make up a word that sounds worse than J word.
Right.
And as far as things going wrong, that happens all the time. I mean, there's problem. There's flights that are canceled. There's stuff that goes to the wrong country because it was put on the wrong flight. Probably the biggest thing that we were involved with, this was not our mistake, but we ended up having to fix it for a different freight forwarder who made the mistake. They shipped a U.S. Licensed by the Department of State prototype missile to Cuba by mistake, and this was when we weren't exactly friends with Cuba.
Oh, God.
And the Cubans took it and, of course, tore it apart and tried to get whatever data they could from it, and we were the ones who ended up bringing it back from Cuba, and it was on a charter aircraft. It was actually the big corporation's private plane that went down there and brought it back, and with a State Department official on board and the rest of it, and that was serious because that's, military secrets that we went to. Not even like we sent it to Canada where they shouldn't have it, but it's okay because we're friendly. We sent it to like one of the worst places. Cuba. Well, I didn't send it, but
that's
somebody
a good
sent
one.
it to Cuba.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I mean, when they take, I always wonder like who's taking it apart. Do they have like a
the videos
missile
I've
specialist?
Seen, no, the videos I've seen in like in other countries of them tearing apart our technology. It's usually like the people doing it, and they're usually like you and me.
Yeah, they're whipping their sandals at it. I'm like, these guys, they're not getting any military. They don't even know what it does.
They're using their sandals to beat the windows and pee on it, and I'm like, what are you finding out?
Like, they don't know how the.
Yep, that's a window used by Sandal to verify.
They're not hacking into the software. Yeah, of course. There's some circuit boards and there's explosives.
What
in
are you
there.
going to use that for?
Like a tracking system. Like
are you and your kid making a robot out of a refrigerator box? Is that why you need that circuit board?
They're not doing it. They're not finding any secrets.
Yeah. What are you opening a Skycraft? You don't know what this stuff does.
Yeah. It's so complicated.
Stop. Leave it alone.
Look around you.
Actually, I have a good idea. If everybody would stop hitting the F-16 with their flip-flops, we could get a scientist in here to study this technology.
Look, is there scientists? So, Dan, now you're kind of like the middleman, right? Because I love cutting out the middleman. So
yeah, you could do that if you wanted to get an account with every single airline. I mean, look, if you want to ship with Southwest Airlines to California twice weekly, then you don't really need me. You can make an account with Southwest Airlines and ship there twice weekly. But Southwest Airlines might not go to where you're looking to go,
Right.
and so then you need another airline, and then you're going to have another account with them and all that. We have all of that taken care of. We also have negotiated rates.
Yeah, and you can go fast. Yeah, you're like
Exactly.
boots on the ground quick.
So I'm able to move something for less per kilo than you are. And then finally, the TSA after September 11th kind of really put a jam up on everybody trying to do it themselves. You'd have to do a bunch of administrative paperwork and bureaucracy garbage to have the certification to be able to tender cargo onto a passenger plane.
You know why I like this one? I like this weird job because Dan has a job that you, of all people, would absolutely need. And because
What do you mean?
you wouldn't be able to, you hate the paperwork.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. Well, that's
allergic
what
to it.
most middlemen, they're just like, we did all the paperwork. And you're like, oh, God, I don't want to
But
do the
I also
paperwork.
like the fact
and then you're like, I'll just pay you.
But Dan,
I don't want to.
I love Dan in the fact that you would have to use him, but you hate the fact that you have to use him. And that's why I like this.
Oh,
is
we
the
get
best one
we
we've
get
ever done.
people. We get people who bring in. Actually, this guy just brought in some gems. He hand carried $40,000 worth of gems into Miami, right? And you have to make an entry for that with customs. You have to declare it. That's a full-on entry, and so they took it. And they said, you could have this back when you make an entry. So he hired us to do it. He was furious because first he's got $43,000 in gems that now he's not in possession of, and he's hoping that they make it to him, and he's got to pay more money to us to clear it for him when he thought he was going to just swing in and bring it in
Well,
himself.
what an idiot. Why did you declare it?
I always carry my jewels.
You just
No,
say
no,
that-
I don't think he did declare it. That was part of the problem. Is that he got pulled for inspection. He had him in a bag that said "Fine Jewels."
Oh, no, you idiot.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he put it in a Listerine bottle.
I was going to say you put him in an old combos wrapper and
He
seal
was
it
having
back
a
up with
fit.
it.
He was having a fit because he's like, we need to make sure that this is sealed up and secured before you ship it to Orlando. And I didn't understand why he was so worried about that. Turns out when our guy in Miami picked it up, it was a bag, like a paper bag that you get from the jeweler store.
Oh, yeah, like the one they put my mom's watch in when it gets steam clean. I've seen those before,
So,
yeah.
He had 40,000
Yeah.
of jewels in a paper bag labeled
Put that in a
jewels.
box, you idiot.
At least a box.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then just put it in an envelope as a whole lumpy. Mail your
Air
jewels.
my jewels.
Yeah.
Well, what can you make? What can one make being a weird shipper, ma'am?
Well, I work for a small business, right? So it's not my own company. If you make, if you do your own company, truthfully, it's not very hard to do. You just have to do all the paperwork and get.
Yeah,
the
like if you
accounts and
were
things
good
like
at
that.
paperwork, like my wife, she loves paperwork. Like in her older
Oh,
years.
she could go into business herself and all the profits. She'd make all the profits. But I'm able to pull in mid-50s, and depending on the bonus, sometimes 10 more than that.
Now, let me ask you,
That's
Dan.
good. That's real good, and it's weird.
When my wife worked for, and obviously she worked for personal people moving their stuff, so it was a lot more emotions involved. But she used to hate it because every account.
She used to ship some pretty high-profile people.
Well, yeah, she move around like.
She moved Sandusky. She moved Jared from Subway.
and
Epstein.
And everybody was always stressed. Like every client was stressed and
yeah.
mad for moving. And if anything went wrong, it would get stuck in customs, even regardless if it was her fault or any if some I wasn't dotted correctly. They hold it up in customs, and they're government employees. No one's in a rush to do anything.
Right.
So So next thing you know, this guy has moved into his house, his brand new mega mansion, because a lot of them are rich, in San Francisco, and all his fine furniture and everything in his
missing
house
his gear.
that he's moved from China is 2 weeks from being cleared, and he's got to live with nothing. And then they're mad and had nothing to do. It's like,
Right.
customs decided to extra check this, a random check, and now it's held for a week. And then so she used to get super stressed out because all her clients were always mad. So do you have to deal with that, or because it's commercial, they're a little less emotional?
Oh, no. That is exactly what I deal with all the time. I break bad news to people probably 4 or 5 times a day, and they vent at me. and I don't let it affect nothing. I just listen to them and smile and laugh because they think that they're the most important thing in the world, and I've got 13 other files behind them to ruin their day too.
Well,
so it's fine.
that takes a special individual to not let that negative. Like my wife, it would bother her. She'd be stressed out, thinking like, "Am I going to mess up?" And like, what if this happens? This guy's not going to get his stuff. He's going to be super mad at me.
She puts too much emotion into it.
Yeah.
Dan is.
Look, I'm not in control of it. I just tell them the facts. I tell them the facts. I'm not in control of it. If you've got a problem, you can call customs yourself. I don't recommend it because it never makes anything better. And you're just gonna have to wait. Like it's not a thing that I can. You can't buy your way out of it.
Right.
You're dealing with a customs officer. If he's going to put a hold on it, he's going to put a hold on it, and he doesn't care who you are or what your deadline is. What I deal with now more than ever is people who are delayed in their product availability, who are trying to save time or make up time in transport. So they'll give me, and in the middle of COVID, these idiots think that we're just flying the same number of flights every day. For instance, Orlando, we have barely any direct flights. The Lufthansa's not flying to Frankfurt. British Airways isn't flying to London Heathrow or Gatwick. We don't have any international, so we have to truck to Miami or Atlanta or somewhere else. And these people, they call me up and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to have this ready at 4:30 today. Can you get it to Tunisia tomorrow by noon?" And it's like, no, I can't, you idiot. Well, we've got a deadline. We really got to get it there. And I'm like, well, look, we can get it there, but it ain't going to be there tomorrow.
Dan, you know what you reminded me of? A question I had for my sister-in-law, because she's a flight attendant, and she
reminds me a lot of your sister-in-law, Dan does.
She knows my cousin. My cousin's a flight attendant with the same airline.
Oh, really? Well, she had been working this whole time during the COVID, and even when it was real bad and barely anybody was flying, she was flying, and I was like, why are they still flying? Like, do you fly flights with barely, like, not anymore, but back then she's like,
early on.
I flew flights with 5 people. I'm like, it seems like, why would you even waste? And then she's like, you got to remember all the shipping
there's
that
still
these
a lot of
airlines
stuff on
do
there.
because they rely a lot of they make a lot of their money through whatever extra room they have, and there's a lot of extra room than baggage from personal items. They ship company stuff from state to state and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that. Like, that's a huge part of their business.
Oh yeah,
is the shipping component of it.
Huge portion of it.
And so they were still flying, even though they didn't have that many passengers, because they were still making the shipping revenue. So a lot of airlines, they all have shipping revenue that they make and work with the different companies, right?
Right, there's the passenger operations, and then there's cargo operations, and together, hopefully, the revenue from both streams makes the airline profitable. This year, not so much. Also, sometimes they have to move the plane anyway for positioning and things. You know, they don't have airplanes at every airport, so they have to get it to Raleigh for its flight to New York or something, so it has to fly empty from Orlando. But what some carriers were doing, passenger carriers, like British Airways, for instance, they got rid of their freighter fleet after 9/11. They just stopped doing it. It wasn't profitable. They actually converted some of their passenger planes, ripped the seats out, and turned them into freighters again so that they could move cargo back and forth between the U.S. and Europe because they literally had nobody on their plane.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Dan, have you heard within this industry if they're looking at the future? So, for instance, in the trucking industry, we've all seen like the Tesla trucks and these electronic semi trucks, and the whole idea is that they're going to be twice as long, completely automated, electronic, and that will be the future of how things are shipped on the ground
at all times.
And are they looking to the future about like overseas shipping or some sort of tunnel system? Or like we get so much stuff at it, like are they looking at
wait tunnel system?
I don't know. I'm just saying,
like under the ocean.
I don't know, Dan. I'm asking you.
And clearly you don't know, Tom, because ain't nobody building a tunnel on the goddamn floor of the ocean.
They do tunnels sometimes. I don't know what the possibility of tunnels are.
Yeah, we're gonna have a European American tunnel underneath the Atlantic Ocean for 12,000 miles or whatever. That sounds
I don't
smart.
know. I'm just saying, Dan. I'm throwing it out there.
For a split second, I got really excited that we did have a tunnel system, and then I realized that we have. Man, that sounds like COVID. Like I've heard COVID, and that sounds just
too
like
much damn caffeine.
And Tom is positive grumpy old man, and Dan is negative grumpy old man. And then we had them. They were using
Dan's my arch enemy.
They were. You were what you've talked about. Two wizards. Blue energy, red energy, and then the middle's purple, and you guys are swirl fighting.
Dan, I have to ask dumb questions because there's a certain percentage of our audience that, they were...
Oh, all right. Say no more, Tom. I got it. I didn't know that you listened to the shows after you recorded
Tom
it.
has to play this part, okay?
Yeah. These dumb questions are all written down.
He's like
ask the
Jessica Simpson. He's beautiful, but you think he's dumb, but behind the scenes, he's a shrewd and brilliant businessman.
If I asked all the smart questions, people wouldn't understand. They're like, I can't understand the concepts he's even bringing up.
Too hard. This show's too hard.
Yeah. Then
We'll go back to Jim Colbert.
Yeah. You gotta. It's all about the masses, Dan. You got to appeal to the masses.
Sam, that's not true.
Yeah.
Jimmy's always talking about smart stuff. We're the only ones that don't talk about anything.
So is there any future thing that they're talking about?
What's the future, Dan?
Tell me about the tunnels, Dan!
This is the tunnels with
I
Dan.
am unaware of any sort of freighter drones that will be operating in the near future or any sort of engineering marvel that builds a tunnel under the ocean.
What about a mega ship? Like a
mega ship.
Like a gigantic, I'm talking a super freighter.
What about a huge, ginormous, like some sort of a blimp?
And
you fill it with a flammable gas, and then you fly it.
Big blimp.
So container ships are bigger than ever now, right? And in fact, they had to dredge the Panama Canal so that they could take the bigger new fleet of
judging the Panama.
the bigger fleet of modern vessels so that they could come to the East Coast. And you may have heard that I think Canaveral dredged its port, and Jacksonville, and all the way up the East Coast. They've been building bigger channels so that they can accommodate these larger vessels. And so we'll bring massive container ships now from China through the canal, around the tip of Florida, and all the way up to New York, where before it was really just a West Coast operation for the big vessels, and then the older
it's back,
ones.
Dan. I'm sorry, it didn't end yet.
I get up around 8 for a job that I hate, and the pay is
Oh,
a
it's not
3, so
wrong
I'll
with that.
probably be late.
I can't stop it. It's like a freighter. I can't turn it around.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Dan. That's pretty interesting.
Wait, I need that clip.
I mean, a lot of the day,
I need a clip
lot of the day, I'm in the office doing paperwork and phone calls and emails.
Not interesting.
Yeah,
not interesting.
And then sometimes,
It's not at all interesting. I was lying. I was lying to all of you. I didn't believe that one bit.
I know, because
it's the most uninteresting thing I've ever
I want
heard.
that clip of you saying, okay, all right. When I was, that's kind of interesting. Like Norm Macdonald.
oh, there is one thing that I got a real good laugh at. I was actually, this Lufthansa aircraft pulled into the gate at the airport, and there was a monkey on board, right? And because the monkey can have human transmittable disease, you had to have full PPE.
Because of the monkey? Like you had to
Yeah,
wear a
because
mask
if
and a
it
shield?
peed on you or something, it was a full rubber boots and everything, right? And so the way that the agriculture works is, or CDC for this
Oh
one,
my
it
God,
was...
this monkey peed on my rubber boots.
Jesus Christ.
You asked for it, Dan. You knew what you were getting into.
I think he was doing me a favor. I'm sorry, Dan.
I'm standing out there on the tarmac, and I got this monkey pee filling my boots up. It's like, God, it's hot. It's hot out here, and I got shorts on. I got my boots on.
So the CDC told the gate agent that nothing comes off the plane until we clear the monkey, right? It's very quick. I'll wrap this up. Anyway, they misinterpreted that to mean they couldn't let the passengers off. So they told the passengers, sorry, we can't let you off until we resolve this thing on the ground. All of a sudden, I see all these people looking out the little windows, and they're freaking out because they see 6 people in white hazmat suits digging into the belly of the aircraft.
My God! Yeah, I'd be mad. That's when I start freaking out, and say, "Let me off!" and they're tasing me. I can see that
And
happening.
we pulled the crate out, put it in a van, and got on our way. And those people were able to get out, but you could see them. All of them started 2 and 3 in the windows, peering through, going, "What's going on out here?"
There's a monkey out here peeing in some guy's boots.
You look out and it's like they're dressed like E.T. Like they go to E.T. You're like, what are they doing? You're like, oh, and you go turn your AC off. You're like, just slowly turn it off. You're like, that'll help.
But it doesn't work.
Yeah.
No matter what direction you turn it, nothing.
Yeah, because you're like, what was in there? Because for sure you don't think it's just some harmless monkey.
I don't think monkey. I think uranium, a bomb.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
a disease,
like
biochemical warfare.
Big, extra large coronavirus ball.
Yeah, huge. Novelty purple crown
Like,
ball.
oh my God, it's a
real corona. It's a big one.
It's a big.
Like a big great white shark.
So Dan, last question. What's the biggest thing and most expensive thing
expensive
that you ship on like a semi-regular basis? I'm just curious. I guess is chartering a flight the most expensive? I guess if you had enough
in freight costs, that would be the most expensive freight costs for sure. Chartering a full aircraft, but I mean, we deal with a lot of military electronics, which are very small and very expensive. So it's like I could have a shoebox size box to move, and it could be worth $800,000.
Gotcha.
And so losing any of that is you're responsible for that. That's part of the service too, right? You have to make sure it gets to where it's going, or you're in charge.
Yeah, I mean, we're tracking, of course, and the airline is responsible for it when it's in their possession, but we have to show chain of custody and all of that kind of stuff. And clearly, if it gets lost, if it's just random stuff, you file a claim. But if it's a defense-related article, then you have to make a disclosure to the State Department and let the feds get up your ass. It's a real pain.
Oh, that's when you lose the missile to Cuba. You're like, no, Cuba, God! It could have been Jamaica. It's so much better.
Jamaican missile team. John Candy.
You just get it. All right. Well, Dan, thank you very much. We tried
I'm sorry,
making
Tom
your job interesting.
I'm sorry Tom didn't like your job.
Anything, I tried my hardest, and it was a failure.
Okay.
Oh, I brought in a full-scale replica of the space shuttle, so that was probably the biggest thing besides the elephant.
A full-scale replica of the space.
Well,
Who has that?
Wait a minute. Why didn't you just build a space shuttle then?
It didn't have the flight parts or anything. It was just a model.
Who wanted that?
I don't remember. We brought it to the visitor center, I think, before the actual shuttles were retired.
Well, the real one's right inside.
Yeah. I want to see your stinky old model. Oh, look, somebody built a shuttle model, and then the real shuttle's right outside. Oh, well, I'll be outside then.
I thought
it was before. Years ago.
Yeah, but they had the real one, right?
Like at the pad, but not for you to visit at the visitor center. And then when they retired the shuttles, they moved the one of them to the visitor center.
I don't want to see a fake shuttle though.
I guess.
Well, I mean, it shows you the scope and size. Do you think those rockets that they have in the rocket garden are real, or do you think that they're replicas?
If I did think that, would you stomp on my dreams?
Well, I don't know if they're real or replica. That's why I'm asking you.
I don't know. Dude.
Are the bones of the T-Rex at the Science Center real? Because I told my son they were. I knew it.
Yeah, they're just resin.
Yeah. They're just. It's a replica.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
All museums are a scam because they resin out the same bones, and they've been swapping these bones for years. Science is not real.
No, I want the real bones.
No, there are no real bones.
They're like, but this is an exact replica of the real bones. But I'm like, but it's not the real bones. I want.
I want to touch the bones that were inside the dinosaur. I don't want to touch the resin bones that the redneck made at Universal Studios.
Yeah. I don't want the replica shuttle. I want the real bones, real shuttle.
Or I'll go to Carhenge.
Oh.
That's just as impressive.
All right, Dan, we gotta go.
All right, y'all.
Oh my God, it's way too late. Oh God. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We get limited time. What's on your mind, buddy?
So we were talking about scams, and everything's a scam. I got a text saying, "Are you still selling your house?" The one we talked about. Obviously, just some random text.
That was
It's
from
a
me.
scam.
And I'm interested in moving into your home.
So, and what we were talking about is like, oh, too good to be true. It's always a scam. But sometimes there's anomalies, and people do find things that are too good to be true, an insane deal or some sort of crazy scenario.
I don't think I ever have.
Me neither, but I'm sure it exists, right? Like someone's found a too good to be true.
There's a reason why it's that people say if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, but there is anomalies, and people do go to the
maybe like if somebody has something that they don't know what the value is.
That's
right?
true. Yeah. But there's also sometimes like you'll find some there'll be some granny that's selling her house for way too little, and she doesn't care about money or something like that, and she puts her house up for like $150,000
Just to get rid of
and
it?
it's worth $400, and then the first person that calls, she's like, all right, you sound like a trustful person, I'll sell it to you. And then you got, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
in all other terms, like this house is selling for $150, it's got to be a scam. Sometimes it's true. Very rare, though. It's so rare that
I've
you should
never
never.
seen it.
Yeah, it's so rare you should never believe it. Things that are too good to be true, because 99% chance they're a scam.
Right.
But there are probably, and that's what I wanted to find out. Like, I bet you there's some listeners that have found something or been involved. Something's too good to be true, and it was.
Have you?
True.
I mean, I would imagine you have. The only thing I can think of that I know was of great value to you was your first boat that you purchased for what I thought at the time was pretty darn good. Like,
It was
I
a
was
deal.
like, damn, that's a good deal. Newer boat.
Yeah, but the thing was, if it was from a stranger, I would have been way more skeptical. This person was a listener to the radio show, so it made sense that he was just hooking me up with a deal. Plus, he was a rich dude that didn't really care. He probably could have got like $2 more grand, but it was just like, I'll sell it to you. It didn't really matter. It was one of those deals, and because he was a listener and he was like, I'll sell it to Drunky, and that, but I got a great deal. But if it was a stranger, I would have questioned, like, wait a minute, is this stolen? Do you really own it? You know what I mean? Because
I've never had. Sam, you ever had one? You ever had something where
I'm trying to
it turned out
think.
that you actually came
You'd
out on
never
the positive
trust.
end of the deal?
Yeah, I don't trust any good deals.
Yeah, you're maybe not designed to.
No.
You're not designed for it.
here's the thing, even if
You got to be open-minded to be into it. And you're open-minded, you know what I mean.
If there was a deal, you would have thought it was a scam and moved on, and so you wouldn't have known it to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Because you would have been like,
you'd be too skeptical.
you'd be too skeptical to even get a too good to be true deal. But that's what I'm interested in. I bet they exist.
Yeah.
They had to
You
have
mean
happened.
other than like, let's say like a Black Friday deal or something
No,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
that doesn't count.
I'm talking about something that, in all intents and purposes, like on paper, everybody would look at it and be like, "That's a scam. It's got to be a scam."
Right.
But it was true. It was like if someone was selling their car for an insane low price, and then you happen to call Craigslist, and he's like, "Yeah, $500." I'm like, "For this?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I just want to get rid of it. I'm done with it." Whatever. And then you're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, what's the scam here?" But then it's real. It's
Right.
like the guy just so happened to want to get rid of his car. He didn't care. He had some financial windfall, and he was like maybe feeling charitable.
Yeah, it's
and
like
he's
when Mike Tyson hands you the keys to his Lamborghini because he's stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Okay.
If someone like people leave crazy tips when you like I know that a couple of the NBA players left the hotel staff at their Orlando hotels like huge tips. I think someone, God, who was it? Someone left
that's
like
not a deal,
$8,000. Although, but think about it, if you saw $8,000, your immediate thought maybe this
What
is
do
a
they leave that
scam.
in cash?
I don't know how they must have charged it. They said charge it to my room and a tip. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Can you do that? I don't know.
Right?
But there was a news story that they left a huge tip. But there's gotta be too good to be true deals that actually happened.
Here's one. Mama Cray Cray says, my husband bought speakers out of the back of a truck. Supposed to be a great deal, but they weren't shielded, so our TV bugged out when we used them. They ended up making great shelves at $400.
No.
Well, that's a scam.
That's-
dude.
yeah.
That's exactly the opposite of what I'm saying.
I know. I just don't think there's very many of them.
I know.
And
Yeah.
The next person in the chat says that they bought their truck from a guy whose son died and he was tired of the memory.
And then he got a great deal.
Yeah.
All right. But was
That's
it?
a sad one.
Here's the thing.
But got a good deal out of it.
A good deal, slightly good deal, is not a too good to be true deal. I'm talking about it's too good to be true, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like that first thought is like this can't be true. It's too good to be true, but then it's like
like those people that you see in the papers. It's like, I bought an Italian villa for $1.
Yeah.
that-
There's something like every once in a while, like you'll find some sort of you'll luck out, right?
Oh, I know who's probably had multiple of them.
Oh yeah, Travis. Butler, get in here.
He's gone. Ran on an errand.
No,
I'm just
he's
kidding.
here.
I'm
He's
just
here. He's here. Oh my God, you look so skinny today.
Oh, we gotta go. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha Butler, all here.
So, Crystal was watching the Dolphins game with me over the weekend, and
Oh, that's cool.
and she's like, "Who's the quarterback?" Like, she don't know anything, and I'm like, I'm like Ryan Fitzpatrick is quarterback, but he's eventually going to be replaced by Tua, like he was drafted, to be the Miami Dolphins
He's
future quarterback.
the new badass, yeah.
And then she's like, doesn't it make Ryan Fitzpatrick feel bad? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't know how he feels emotionally about it, but like he knows this is the plan.
Part of the deal, yeah.
And this was part of the plan from the beginning. He gets paid a lot of money to be the quarterback until they bring in him, and then he'll be a backup quarterback, and who knows if he's going to be on the team. I imagine he would be.
Yeah,
because
I would imagine he'll tuck in behind and be okay. Yeah.
And he's going to make a really nice salary, and
he's got a lot of knowledge,
his career.
and he can use that knowledge, ease back on some of the wear and tear on the old body. Yeah, it's not a bad.
I'm like, this is the plan, I'm like, this is he's making his career this, and he's trying to mold it to wherever you go. You're not always the Patrick Mahomes of the franchise quarterback.
I remember when he signed his huge contract. What was that, with the Bills way back in the day?
Yeah. He's kind of like they call it a journeyman. You go around to different teams or whatever. But it's interesting because you're right. The thought of like, well, wouldn't you feel bad knowing that you're eventually going to get replaced and stuff? But like, not at this level with this amount of money and this professionality. Like if you're on the Pee Wee football team,
and in your mind, subconsciously, with your ego, there's got to be something you have to come to terms with, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he did it a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a personal thing, and I'm sure that somewhere inside his mind, he's seen those things. It's kind of like on that show that most of us has watched, Ted Lasso, when you have like the older soccer player, and he knows that he's losing a step.
Yeah.
And he knows it before anybody else does because he's a professional.
And he knows the reality of like, hey, I'm here because I've lost a step. That's got to be difficult to get over, though. Like, especially.
Well, how are you getting over it? Like right now, I mean,
what?
I was saying it to myself too.
I didn't know which way to go. I was gonna go. I got over it a long time ago. Before this show started.
I'm just screwing around.
And then I was like, nope, but I still got it.
I do that some days. Some days I'll get in the car and I'm driving over here and my brain's not working right. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Time to teach old, what's his name, Fitzpatrick. Toa. You better get out there. Tua, teach him how to do it.
Yeah. And
get in there, Butler. I'll show you how to lob a pass. Yeah. Wait, you don't have the talent.
Well, at least you have. At least you have a job where that is a job that someone would pay you handsomely for. Is that your job is to be the backup of the guy, and if you could do that successfully, you at least can extend your career for.
Really depends on how you look at it.
2 or 3 years.
I mean,
support.
I think he probably knows that he's probably more important in his role as a backup and a mentor than some other players even on the team. You know what I mean?
If you take ego out of it, then it's actually, I'd rather
pretty
be
awesome
the backup quarterback
yeah.
because then you'd be like, whatever.
Less injuries.
Less pressure.
Less pressure, and knowing that, you have to be supportive of this guy. Yeah. You're less in the spotlight. You take less, just pressure, the media.
More of a
bad games. You're like, get them out of here.
Utility role, right?
Yeah. And then
you're not the face of the franchise anymore.
And I don't know what he'll actually, I mean, I'm sure it's already in his contract and everything's signed up, but I assume it's millions of dollars.
Who? Fitzpatrick?
Fitzpatrick, yeah. I think he signed some decent contract. So it's like it's a pretty good gig to me. And he's a hero, and like he ends the season in a win. Yeah. He still fits magic. Everybody's like,
he's well liked.
And then now you let the new guy go in there, and I'm sure he's gonna have some bad games. People are gonna be like, he's garbage.
He signed a 2-year contract for $11 million.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then you sit back and enjoy, and
you're in Miami too. That's not bad. Weather this time of year is about to get perfect.
No. But then maybe there is that that final statement of like, this guy is, the.
I think that's probably the only part of your explanation that you might get wrong, is that I think when you're that competitive and you play on that tier, that it probably hurts you more than we realize. Not being,
or just he's a logical dude. I mean, he's from Harvard.
Isn't he like smart. Mega smart?
Yeah, he's a Harvard dude. So not that means anything in the football program, but I imagine that they hold their football players at a higher standard
than most.
Yeah. So
it'll be better than USF.
Yeah. All right. Let's do some emails.
And I got a couple of voicemails. We can start with some voicemails.
All right.
I've been collecting these. And you can leave them via our app. If you don't have our app, totally free. All of our content's on there. Wherever you pick up your apps for your smartphone, just search for Tom and Dan app or a mediocre app.
Hey, crew. I was just listening to Corporate Time, and it was just the smallest little bit. You mentioned the cigarette lighter in the car. What does that do? Cauterize this. My dumbass, when I was a little kid, riding with my dad who smoked cigars, when that was okay to do in the car with your kids, he popped the cigarette lighter, pulled it out, lit a cigarette, put it back in. I pulled it out to look at it, and it was bright red. So my natural instinct as a dumb kid was, hey, a fruit roll-up. And I stuck my finger right on it and screamed, and my dad just laughed at me and said, why would you do that? Funny story, just wanted to share that with you guys.
Is it funny?
Yeah.
Horrifying.
It's
funny
I
that
thought he was going
dads-
to put his tongue on it for a
Yeah,
minute.
I thought he was
fruit
too.
roll-up.
Me too. That's why I was like, ooh.
Why would you think it's a fruit roll-up?
I-
You're obviously an idiot.
I do
Did he
remember.
say how old he was?
Okay, I'm going to tell you
Still.
something
Ooh.
that amazes me, and I don't understand why it's a thing, and it still amazes me, and it's the same thing, and I see it in two different incarnations. One of them is the cigarette lighter. When I used to use one to light my cigarette, there would be a little round inside there. It would ignite the paper and the little bit of tobacco in the beginning, and it would leave like a little ash mark.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the same thing would happen when I would light my cigarette off of my stove. It would leave like a little circular. And I know Tom did this. I'm not looking at you, Sam, because you're classier than Tom and I.
Oh,
But
she lit her cigarette off the stove.
Okay, good.
Toaster.
Come
All
on.
right, we're all. Is Butler the only person that didn't smoke here?
For sure, he's going to say he smoked.
Well,
He's
even if he
way
didn't.
classier than all of us.
He lit his joint off. You know what I mean?
Right,
For
yeah.
sure.
Hey, Butler, you ever lit a cigarette off a stove?
He's on an errand.
Oh
Oh my God! Or we made him so mad he's in there crying.
No. But you didn't like
I
that
can
little
hear
ring?
her crying.
Let him cry.
Let him cry it
Cry
out.
Why would you do that? Why would you put your finger on? So, why does it leave that little bit of paper on there that never goes away?
That bothered you? That's
It
funny.
bothered. Yeah, that's OCD. Like
Yeah.
I would look on the stove,
Then-
even if I wipe it with a rag and it's perfectly cold and dry, and that little bit of ash paper from it would stay there and permanently stain my cigarette lighter and my stove.
Cancer chemicals.
It just
Stays forever.
Yeah, the burning the imprint of the paper, something like that.
But why does it stay there?
It's crude technology. It's like, hey, this thing will heat this coil red hot.
It's a toaster.
And then you'll light your cigarette or whatever the hell is you want, a cigar off this red hot coil. Like it's as
Have you
old
guys-
of technology as it gets.
Have you guys ever wanted to disassemble a toaster and there's little wires in there, bend them out in different directions, and then push the thing down to just watch it?
No.
No. Do people still
Just you.
commit suicide by
Toaster in the tub.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
anybody's ever done that.
Has that?
Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
Or is that just something cartoons created? Because I'm
or
convinced
the
that
movies?
I'm convinced that a lot of our reality is just stuff that we perpetuate that's fake that we don't do.
Yeah, well, because
Like beer can chicken. I've told you guys it's fake. It's
Well-
not real. It doesn't make the chicken any juicier.
yeah, and then also the movies for years, if they're like portraying someone committing suicide, I guess toaster in the oven or in the oven, toaster in the bathtub, like that's been a stereotypical thing.
Yeah.
And-
Tie a rock around your leg and jump in a lake.
Yeah, and it's maybe the visualization. Okay, God damn it.
Vizzle dizzle. For vizzle, my shizzle.
God damn it. The imagery.
You're
of
like
that.
dumb Walmart Snoop Dogg.
The visual of that is easier in movies to portray than like taking pills or like I don't know. It really-
Yeah, well,
I don't think that many people killed themselves with toaster in the bathtub.
Well, I guess Mythbusters did an episode on it, and they proved that you can die that way. Now, I don't know if anyone has or not.
It seems like such a violent. Although people choose violent ways to kill themselves,
man.
but toaster.
I think I would choose like a non-violent way. I don't think I want you guys to. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one of those people that's like, well, if I'm doing this, I'm gonna make it a bang. You know, like now.
Let's play another voicemail.
Yeah, it was getting dark, right?
Right.
Let's try this one.
Hey, so I have a take on that whole Ellen thing. I know you guys were talking about it on one of the ACTs, but so I really think it also has to do a lot with not just because she's a D-head, but I imagine doing those show tapings, dancing like an idiot, being in the bubbly, like, oh, love me. I feel like that takes a lot out of you. So probably once you're done with that, you probably don't want to look at anybody or deal with anybody. There's no excuses for being a old business bitch, but I mean, I would, after like an 8-hour shift at work, you know, I'm grumpy. So, bye-bye.
Damn it, you cursed.
Yeah, no, we all suspected that was the case. Like, she's, but the interesting part is that she had, or was maybe suggested she had to do this to get America to like her, because her true personality was probably way more crude and maybe off-putting.
But she was so concerned about not being able to be her authentic self, which was a gay woman, that she created this fake persona, and she's been trapped in it ever since.
Oh, it's like Paris Hilton. Well, she created a persona.
No, that is kind of my theory. My theory is she wasn't able to be a funny comic who was just as filthy as the boys and be a woman, right? Yeah. So you create this other persona. It's not really you. It's not authentic. So you go and you do it. It's not who you really are. Then you treat people like who you really are, which might be a little D-heady. Yeah. Then the contrast.
Because it's so
the
different.
contrast is what makes it so severe. It's not that she's any more of a D-head than most guys are.
Of course.
Guys get a pass.
We said this before.
And that's why.
David Letterman is notoriously a D-head to his staff, and people are like, yep, that sounds about right. You know, like, that's it. No one's like, oh my God, David Letterman's a D-head. Everyone's like, I can see that.
I think Gene Simmons prides himself on being a D-head, and not one person, I don't hear people most of the time have accepted that he's a D-head and are okay with it.
Yeah, and
that's weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
The intent is: are you being a D-head just to be a D-head, or are you being a very aggressive and very to the point, which you come across like a D-head for business purposes, and people get, and then
that's why it's not fair most of the time with girls, because
the double standard,
right? If Sam does it, then she's an old bitch. But if you do it, you're just a business hungry, aggressive man.
Yes,
F that. That's garbage.
But I do feel bad because when she started, I assume that she was heavily pushed to put this persona on because of ratings and stuff. Now, she probably knew, she's a smart lady, she knows the business, and she probably was like, all right, at this time in America, they are not ready for a business D-head lesbian to be a talk show host.
Also, when you're daytime talk show host, you gotta be...
Squeak.
You can't really push the envelope as much because it's like house moms watching you.
Yes.
You got to be happy and dancing, and you know.
And but the personality types that they wanted weren't aggressive and good enough to be under that role. Hence, like her and what's her name?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell, who is also, I imagine,
they both fit. I think that archetype of.
I love Beanie Babies, Tom Cruise. It's like, that's how she's
a damn good businesswoman, and she's aggressive, and she knows what she wants. And
she probably at certain times very harsh to her employees.
And you and I've never been the type of guys that like we hate that. Remember that we used to talk about it. It used to be a bit on the show where we would laugh at guys whose wives were seemingly more important than they were. And how inferior it would make them feel, and how it would like sort of crush their fragile little faces.
Oh yeah.
And how funny we think that is, because I want my wife to be the biggest thing in the world, so I can just sit back and just like absolutely just live off of her. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to be? Right. Why wouldn't you want to support that, right? Yeah. But Tom and I'm not gonna. Well, you know, I'm thinking of. Well, there's bunches of them, but the one in particular, and we would watch this guy, and it was the best because it was like you can't handle the fact that she's awesome.
That is bizarre to me.
It's really weird.
It's like you don't want her to be succceused. Because that somehow
it's ego.
Yeah, why is that rattling you, man?
Also, who cares what? Like, no one thinks anything of you. Like, so who cares? Like, who do you think? Who matters? Like, no one okay, if I say Crystal becomes the most powerful realtor in Orlando, right?
Well, I mean, she's a very, very successful and good realtor.
And
so totally possible.
If you start selling like just Windermere, like these mega
Gold
mansions,
Note.
You make millions. You know, like, and so say you get to the power realtor, like. wow, like why would I be like, oh, your wife is super successful realtor? I'd be like, yeah, I know, it's awesome. Like, I'm like, it has nothing to do with me. It doesn't make me less or more.
My answer
actually,
would be,
I think it makes me more because like I'm rich because of her. I got money now.
Yeah.
So
I think the correct answer there would be, yeah, and can you believe she's with me?
Right.
Yeah.
How awesome am I? I must be super awesome if she loves me.
Yeah. This powerful woman.
You're looking at it all wrong. Why are you being so negative? Be positive.
I have no understanding of how that would make me feel less or somehow.
It is a weird thing.
We want it,
make
though. See, that's the thing. We'll never get it because we want it too bad.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It makes no.
Or they will get rich and powerful and leave you.
Oh, yeah. That's
well, then I'll take
possible.
half of what she's got.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, she'll have to pay me alimony.
Yeah,
like, I know the game. So it's a win-win. Like, what I want her poor.
Win-win.
Like,
this is a win-win.
Be like, hey, you know the dummy you married that makes no money? Like, yeah, that makes me feel good. I'm good now. Like, what is that? Like, why would you want that? Like, what does it matter? Like, I don't know.
And
bizarre.
it's also not more fun. There's also a certain, pardon me. There's also a certain section of guys that don't like their wife doing anything with the money. You know those guys?
Like
There's a lot of those.
any,
There are a lot of those guys, and I'll say it.
decisions.
In my family, there were some guys, not my dad, but I'm just saying, like other people in my family that would have been almost like demasculating to have your wife, control the finances. I'm like, are you crazy? I want my wife to control the finances. I'm really bad at this stuff, and I don't like to do any of it, and it's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
I'd rather her do it.
And maybe, I mean, there's one thing if like someone was like, if your wife was had controlling finances and like not letting you buy anything, and then like you had to beg to buy. So I don't know why that would be even a thing. That's just something people make up in their heads, right? Like, I'm sure maybe that happens where someone takes complete control and then like treats the other spouse. Usually,
Well,
it's
I have to have
the
a
opposite
conversation, but
But like your wife, now there is.
Have you ever bought anything without Crystal's permission? Well, permission's heavy. You know what I mean? Without clearing it.
All right, let's talk.
Because I got to clear things, and sometimes I'll say that to Sam. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, Andrea won't
Okay,
let me do that."
Let's talk about this. There is a stereotype that I kind of fall into believing, and tell me if you guys. I've seen couples out there where the woman in the relationship like has complete control and makes that completely clear to everybody around them, and then the man is super meek and barely says anything and just like kind of goes along.
Yeah, he likes his ball stomp.
Yeah, he's the sub.
Yeah.
And so
he's one of those guys. He likes that though. That's what he's designed to do.
Yeah. And when I see that relationship, I often feel towards the man, which is probably now. Here's the thing. I don't care enough about anybody else's life for it to be more than just like a split second being like, oh, come on,
that. Yeah, I see what you're
saying. Get some balls, buddy, and then that would be it or something like that. But I do have that. But like I said, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like,
no, I know
come on,
exactly
do
what
something
you're
or
saying.
whatever. Like you're too submissive to the point where it's like, come on, have an opinion. Or like with this other person. I'd say in both was like this person does that. Like why is one of the people in this relationship only in control and the other person's super submissive? But maybe that's what they like.
No, it's a stereotype though too, because we've taken it and put it in like whether it be sitcoms or cartoons. There is the meek man and then the over powerful. She almost falls into the Venn diagram of like a Karen.
But that can go the other way too.
Oh, absolutely.
It mainly goes the other, or used to a lot more, but the stereotype is mainly the other way. Like the guy's in charge, and then the wife is like her opinion, or she just keeps it to herself, or whatever. But I've seen it in both ways, and in both ways, I'm always like, guy, why aren't you more equal here? Or why isn't the other person speaking up? Or why are they so meek? But they could like that. And then,
it could be what works for them.
Yeah.
Normally, they're like in my case, I'll put it on me. For me, it's normally it's something that I'm creating.
A narrative.
It's a narrative. Thank you. Yeah, that's the perfect word.
Yeah.
It's a narrative that inside of me that I am creating that.
Based on all
that may or may not be true.
Stuff, yeah.
Like Andrea may not be feeling it. You guys may not be feeling it. Butler, everybody involved. isn't feeling what I'm feeling, I'm creating the narrative and I'm writing it out and I'm convinced you guys are feeling it. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it. It's all
Of
a
course,
projection of what's happening.
Well, that's what every human does, right?
Yeah.
Like they meet someone and then they write their whole story of what
Oh,
they're
yeah.
in. You know, like it must be some defense mechanism for
Yeah, absolutely. It's
like,
a brain thing.
human psychology where we try to like write the person's like intentions and their narrative life story so that we know where they're gonna like,
Maybe so you don't get disappointed, or maybe so you can
to protect yourself.
Yeah,
and
to
something
protect
like that.
yourself to get ahead of the situation in some weird way.
So you see that and you're like, oh, this is the how the reality is. You don't
Yeah.
know. You just met this person, but you were like, oh, all right, I need to write their whole story, and this is what they're about.
You got an email?
Sure. All right.
time
This
for
says
one more email.
BDMs helping BDMs. Hey, T&D crew. I just wanted to tell the show thank you for letting everyone know about Travis Gillis at Gillis Automotive.
Oh, yeah.
I've been having some car troubles earlier this week, and Gillis Automotive literally saved me hundreds of dollars. My car wouldn't start. I thought it was a battery issue, and when I took my car to the auto parts store, they told me my battery was fine and it was a starter issue. I then took my car to Gillis, and after running some diagnostics, Travis concluded it was my battery and everything else was working fine. Travis took my battery out, gave me a loaner battery, and told me to take it back to the auto parts store and have them load tested, and they will see that the battery is bad, and they will replace it under the warranty since my dead battery was less than a year old. I returned to the auto parts store. There, my battery failed, and a replacement one was given to me free of charge. I returned the loaner battery to Gillis Automotive, thanked him, and asked what I owed, and he said nothing. Just spread the word and let people know about my shop. I encourage anyone that needs work done on their car to call Gillis Automotive.
That sounds like
first.
Gillis to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Hey, before you pay that huge Billis, call Gillis.
Hey, that's a good tag.
Well, he saved you some money, right?
Yeah.
That's that
Yeah,
old
he's like, hey,
school-
take my loaner battery, just bring it back.
Yeah, it's just your
This
battery.
is-
Yeah.
I wish my dad was
Yeah,
still alive to
that
see
is-
this, because
yeah.
this is the kind of stuff that my dad, and I know your dad, this is the kind of stuff that old school dads did.
Yes, yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
like, you need a battery, use my loaner, figure it out, come back to me. If you need to get it done, I'll gladly do it, and you can pay
Right.
me. If
Yeah.
not, we're good. Just think of me next time you have car trouble,
Yeah.
buddy, and a Gillis day to you.
That's the old school
love
handshake
it.
that we've always talked
I
about
love
that
it.
we prefer over everything. Plus, it's small business, and that's usually how small businesses run because they care about their repeat customer.
I
because
love it.
They don't need millions of customers. They just
Right.
need dozens of super
Loyal
loyal
ones.
customers, and then
Regulars,
that's
yeah.
it. It's us. It's us.
Yeah, man.
We don't need millions of BDMs.
We just need about 100 regulars. We're good.
yeah, we-
you know, like,
but
we
the
just
ones
need-
we have, we
True
just,
six.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, Gillis is awesome. He saved he saved multiple. How many vehicles has he saved of ours?
See this.
Griff truck multiple times.
Like
Yeah,
every
yeah.
vehicle I think we've
I take my
had.
mom's car
Yeah.
multiple times. The
Is he on hookups?
yeah, he's
He
on
is,
hookups,
Yeah, go to hookups if it's the easiest way to find Gillis Automotive on hookups.
This is the reason, though, that corporations have gotten such a bad rap is because like big corporate mechanics or like
Oh,
franchise.
they're just trying to sell stuff.
Well,
they don't care about the customer.
$30 non-refundable fee to rent that battery to.
Yeah.
Even to diagnose it, then I don't even think they're going to let you rent a battery.
Plus, at the auto parts store, like they are incentivized by upselling you more things. Like,
Right.
So the problem is it's all a conflict of interest. Even like the doctor, the vision therapy doctor or whatever. It's like, so what they're telling you may or may not be the truth, and I want to believe that it's the truth. They're not out there to scam you, but the problem is they're incentivized by what they're telling you, and therefore it's a conflict of interest. So, like, if they bring the battery, it's better for them for you to buy a starter and the battery or whatever else than it is for you not to do it. So it's kind of like they're going to lean more towards making money because especially when they've been trained by the corporation to hit this, sell this, you need to make more money. You have like
It's just
goals
all part of
you
the
need to hit.
process,
Yeah,
you know.
it's part of the corporate cog. And with Gillis, he owns it. So he's like, hey, it's more important that you come back and use me later. So this battery, it's the battery, like I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to try to sell you a bunch of stuff you don't need. But if you're a giant corporation, there's a million other.
Plus, I think he's like a one-man shop. I mean,
Right.
occasionally he
Yeah.
might have somebody in there and out of there. So sometimes it's even better for him to get you to help out diagnose it and then come back if you need him. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and end with this. It's like us, if you're buying advertising for us, we'll tell you if we think it's not going to work.
That's true.
That's true.
We're not going to just take your money.
Yeah, we'll be like, I don't think it's a good fit, or I don't want to do something that doesn't work. I don't want you to waste your money, blah, blah. We'll tell you. But believe me, go to any giant corporate advertising and then go. They'll take your money.
Oh, yeah.
Even if that guy knows 100% this is a complete waste, whatever, they are trained to do
There's
it.
no bad fit.
They'll get fired if they heard that you didn't take these
Right.
people's
Yeah.
money because you're an idiot. Of course you take their money. Now, I have nothing. That's what business is. They're a giant corporation. They need to do that. That's why they have these things in place. I don't fault them for it. That's what a corporation does. They're there to make money no matter what. But that's it. You got to know that.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
absolutely got to know that.
You got to know who you're talking to.
Yep.
Anyway.
Bye-bye.